You don't know where the truth at. Looking all around, but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Taking 9 down. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Taking 9 down. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Taking 9 down. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that.
We We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know, oh yeah, yeah, just tell them you know, oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy, mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah, while I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. The mouth from my lips when I'm show me where you wanna go next, you know, right away. Yeah. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, kicking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the proper's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah, yeah, just tell them you know. Oh yeah,
rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy, mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah, while I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah, speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm show me where you wanna go next, you know, right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, kicking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the proper's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know, oh yeah, yeah, just tell them you know, oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Yeah. Rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, kicking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh oh, oh oh. Tell them you know, oh yeah, yeah, just tell them you know, oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, kicking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh oh, oh oh. Tell them you know, oh yeah, yeah, just tell them you know, oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, know it. Yeah, reading through the law to see. I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it. And you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Taking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read. I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. And you know it. Yeah. Rounding up the yeah. Rounding up the book to read. I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. And you know it. Yeah. Reading through the law to see. I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it. And you know it.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Welcome back to Our Hidden History Radio. I'm Deacon Hathan, and to my left,
Captain Joel, Officer LaCroix,
Officer Jezreel.
And Officer Onias.
yeah, we are at Hidden History Radio. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Chapter 11, right? Chapter 11? You're not losing track of this stuff, man. I'm just going through as I go. Chapter 11, we're in the old world now. Okay, we was in the new world before. The first 10 parts, now we're going to be in the old world. The next few parts. So we're gonna just continue off where we left last week. Last week, I believe, we left off with Dido, Alyssa, and how the Israelites followed behind her, and they colonized North Africa. What else? They colonized North Africa, and what was it? Carthage.
Right,
They found
Carthage.
Carthage. They found Carthage, Utica. That's all North Africa. That's all North Africa. In that area, Carthage is a very, very important place because a lot of history takes place in that very area as we're going to proceed in the lesson, all right, in these parts. So we're going to continue on with the history of the Israelites leaving to Carthage or Africa, and now we're going to go into the Bible again. I noticed the last part got a lot more views because we went into a lot of scriptures in terms of King Solomon. So I noticed a lot of y'all gravitate to the class and it's more scriptural, but again, this radio show was put together because a lot of the classes I do have involve a lot of history books. That's why it's Our Hidden History. It requires a lot of history books. A lot of secular information is required to bring out these biblical details. The Bible is an abbreviated history book. So a lot of the Bible is a book that ties into all different points of history because a lot of history that has shaped the world we live in today revolves around the Israelites. A lot of these TV shows and movies you watch that you think is like genuine and like whether it be an anime and Moab be putting together or Edom puts together, a lot of these shows revolve around a lot of Israelite history, a lot of it. Okay, a lot of things that revolve around the nation of Israel, a lot of things that revolve around the nation of Israel literally built this kingdom, built this whole civilization that we live in today. A lot of things that took place, as I'll prove later on in the series. So let's go to 1 Chronicles 5:18.
And Deacon, like I said, a lot of people is waiting for us to get back to Southern Kingdom.
Yeah.
You know, they say
Wait,
nothing.
wait. Hold on. What? What other people wait to go to the Southern Kingdom?
That's why it's more views. They say, back to black people.
Oh,
Black
man.
people.
Black people. Oh, that's true. I did emphasize a lot of Northern Kingdom.
Jake don't like Northern Kingdom.
They do not like Northern Kingdom.
Still that division. They say, good. Back to black only Israelites.
Yeah, back to black only, right?
I can relate to this.
Yeah, so we're gonna go. We are gonna touch on Northern Kingdom again, though. I have to, because Northern Kingdom, unfortunately, y'all had a very simplistic spirit when it came to. Remember last week we went into King Ahab, his father Omri, and how King Omri was trying to basically assimilate the Northern Kingdom into the African nation, and this is something that a lot of Northern Kingdom, even to this day, is prone for. Something in y'all that makes y'all feel the need to constantly assimilate and merge yourselves into heathen nations. That's why I look so diverse like that. Like Judah, Southern Kingdom, we do it too, but not so much to the extent that Northern Kingdom does it, man.
And Deacon, like we was just talking prior to the radio show,
right?
That with Northern Kingdom on this side, the only reason why it's more recognizable that the Northern Kingdom, that the Latinos, South America and Central America are of our people by their looks, because what we were brought up with.
What we're used to.
That's what we're used to. But if you go to the other sides of the world, Northern Kingdom mixed with everybody.
Right.
So there's Northern Kingdom all over the place. The Eastern Hemisphere. You got in the ocean. But we can't tell who's who.
They assimilate into those cultures.
All the cultures. So it's very difficult to be able to distinguish Northern Kingdom from the other tribes out there. So that's why the scripture says not to judge by appearance. We don't know.
And another thing also, people like to contest is the 12 tribes sign. They say, you guys say that the 12 tribes of Israel is scattered throughout all four corners of the earth, but that sign just shows one side. But you don't understand, as I've stressed numerous times, and eventually I will go over it in time when I feel like it, regarding that the majority of the 12 tribes of Israel were brought to this side. Were brought to this side of the world. Nice.
Yes,
were brought to this side of the world. I'll say again. The majority of the 12 tribes of Israel were brought to this side of the world. And the remnants of that 12 were scattered everywhere else. That's why the truth didn't start on all four corners. The truth started in one corner of the world. The truth started here in the New World, the fourth part of the earth. Started here. So it's only common sense that if the truth starts here, obviously the majority of the people who the truth belongs to would be here, whereas remnants of us will be everywhere else. Likewise, for example, if you do it with the old world, the truth started where? It started in Jerusalem. The way historians refer to the Messiah's teachings as the way. The way started in Jerusalem. During the time of the Messiah walked the earth, was Israel scattered throughout all four corners of the earth? Yes. But where did the way start? It started in the east. It started in one area, local area, and the disciples are told to do what? Teach it and spread it abroad.
Right.
But it started in one area. You understand? So, and also the majority of Southern Kingdom remained in Jerusalem. And remnants of the Northern Kingdom remained in Jerusalem and the other areas. And you had scattered Judah and scattered Israel everywhere else. And the majority of Northern Kingdom over here on this side. Which is why the bishop keeps bringing out in IUIC events page how the history of the Spanish Inquisition and the Native American conquest all tying together. Because those people are the same people who were colonized and both underwent a Spanish Inquisition. The Native Americans underwent a Spanish Inquisition, and our brothers on the other side of the world, the old world, Europe and so forth, underwent the Spanish Inquisition. That's why I carried over into this side of the world. You had this Portuguese Inquisition that made its way into Brazil. You had the Spanish Inquisition that made its way into Mexico, and Jews came over here and were tormented and tortured and imprisoned and so forth on this side of the world, along with the Native Americans, for rejecting Christianity. But that will be later on. I'm giving you spoilers. That's later on in the series, way later. All right, so y'all, the 12 tribe sign, the 12 tribe sign focuses primarily on this side of the world, because the truth is on this side. The majority of Israel's on this side. But are we denying the other 12? Are we denying the 12 tribes are scattered all over the world? No. Remnants of them are scattered all over the world. The majority is here. That's what the Bible always refers to those scattered abroad as remnants. If there's remnants scattered abroad, where is the majority of them?
Right.
A remnant is the part of a majority. So if the remnants are scattered everywhere, where's the majority at? Here. All right? So, enough of that. Let's get 1 Chronicles 5:18. 1 Chronicles 5:18. Let's just get it all. Let's start it off.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 5, verse
Let me
18.
get there with you. Hold on. All right, let's go.
The sons
We're
of
gonna
Reuben,
read to verse 26.
the sons of Reuben, and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men, men able to bear buckler and sword, and to shoot with bow, and skillful in war, were 44,703 score that went out to the war.
So these guys, so Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh were known for their bow, for their shooting with the bow, and they were skillful in war. That's why I mentioned earlier, we was dealing with the old New World, how Gad was fierce. They were the most fiercest of the northern kingdom on this side of the world. That's why Esau makes them so mystical, magical, because they are by far the most spiritual and most, I would say, purest in terms of our religion on this side of the world, in terms of the Mosaic Law of Commandments. They were the last to be conquered on this side of the world. That's why Esau spent his time making sure to, in reference to them, to kill the Indian and keep the man, to make them a civilized nation. Because that was the top northern tribe of Northern Kingdom that maintained that law-giving spirit. And they were also fierce warriors. Let's continue. That's why that movie Avatar is based upon them. And of course, all the Native Americans as well. They refer to them as the Na'vi. The Avatar, Avatar, it's called Avatar because the body he was in was an avatar. It was like a doll. But the people were referred to as the Na'vi, which I personally believe is in reference to the Navajo. That's what I believe it's in reference to. Even when they say "I see you," that they use that term "I see you." It was brought out that in West Africa that was a term of endearment. They would say "I see you" as in "I acknowledge you," and even certain words they use in the movie come from Spanish words that are spoken by our so-called Puerto Rican and Dominican people today. They use those terminologies today, like the term potato, hammock. Those are all Native American terms that Esau borrowed and stole. All right, potato, hammock, maize, all of that stuff come from us. But let's continue.
And they made war with the Hagarites, with Jetur and Nephish and Nodab. And they were helped against them. And the Hagarites were delivered into their hand, and all that were with them. For they cried to God in the battle, and he was entreated of them, because they put their trust in him. And they took away their cattle, of their camels 50,000, and of their sheep 250,000, and of asses 2,000, and of men 100,000. For there fell down many slain, because the war was of God.
We conquered everybody. We were taking the land by force. We were massacring the nations that were there. Go ahead. The land was rightfully ours. Go ahead.
And they dwelt in their steads until the captivity.
Until we got conquered. Go ahead.
And the children of the half tribe of Manasseh dwelt in the land. They increased from Bashan unto Baal-Hermon.
Baal-Hermon,
And Senir, and unto Mount Hermon. And there was the heads of the house of the fathers.
These were the heads.
And these were the heads of the house of their fathers, even Epher, and Ishi, and Eliel, and Azriel, and Jeremiah, and Hardoviah, and Jadiel, mighty men of valor, famous men, and heads of the house of their fathers. And they transgressed against the God of their fathers, and went a-whoring after the gods of the people of the land, whom God destroyed before them.
We start going off. Go ahead, watch this.
And the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria.
Pul is Tiglath-Pileser. Tiglath-Pileser, an Assyrian king. I believe this is the third. Tiglath-Pileser conquered Northern Kingdom first. Before Shalmaneser, you had Tiglath-Pileser, or Pul for short. Go ahead.
And the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria.
Same person. Pul, Tiglath-Pileser, same person. Go ahead.
And he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, and brought them unto Halah, and unto Habar, and Harah, and to the river Gozan, unto this day.
Unto the lands of the Medes. Unto the lands of the Medes. So Tiglath-Pileser Northern Kingdom was conquered in waves. He didn't just come and just take all of them at one time. it was waves of captivities. It would come and take them by waves. So Tiglath-Pileser took the first batch, you could say, took the first batch of them over to the cities of the Medes. Gahala, Gozan, Hara, Habor, whatever, all right? And then I believe, let's go more. Let's get some more. Let's get 2 Kings 16:27. So start with Tiglath-Pileser, or Pul first. 2 Kings 16:27.
2 Kings 16.
Verse 27 to 30.
You mean 1 Kings?
So 2 Kings 16? 2 Kings 16?
Not 20. There's no verse 27.
Maybe it's first. Try first. I think it's 1 Kings. I made a mistake.
1 Kings chapter 16, verse 27. Now the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and his might that he showed.
No, that's not it. Hold on. Let me see something. 2 Kings 17.
So,
Let me look for it.
what you're going to realize, like I said, hey, as mighty as the warriors were, Gad, Reuben, they were still conquered. So it doesn't matter, like I said, against our power, when we go against our power, when we break God's laws, it doesn't matter how mighty the tribe are, we have no power against the Most High. Show. Look, it doesn't. it doesn't matter. Listen, as mighty as our forefathers, as mighty as our forefathers were.
Are we doing this now? We're doing this right now?
The mighty tribe of Gad, warriors,
Yo.
just so that you guys could have.
Yo.
So that you have a depiction of our mighty fathers in Gad and the tribe of Reuben.
Man, I'm about to resign from the show, man. Yo. All right, officer, man, I got you. Man. All praises.
Yo,
Yo.
man.
Yo, all right. I appreciate it, Cat.
The mighty tribe of Gad, they were still conquered by the ancient Assyrians.
Yo, hey, why is it still on the screen? Yo.
I ain't gonna lie, man. That caught me off guard, man. I looked up, all I saw was Gad facing the screen.
Yeah, I seen the way Cap just cut his eyes at me like.
Let's get the second Kings 16, verse 7. 2 Kings 16, verse 7 to 10. I don't know why I have this here. Wait. You know what? No. I know I want. It's 2 Kings 15, 27. 2 Kings 15, 27 to 30.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 15, verse 27. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Remaliah, began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 20 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin.
Now, Northern Kingdom, those of you who are watching, I spent a lot of time bigging y'all up. First, 10 parts, I was bigging y'all up. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, y'all had no good kings, man. Y'all had none.
Kings were terrible, Deacon.
Yeah, they didn't have a single good king, not once. It was bad. Yo, listen, it was bad.
And Deacon,
one king reigned for 2 days when he killed the other. One moved for 5 minutes. One killed the other. 2 months he killed the other. It was bad. It's bad.
And Deacon, and we can see why when we deal with Northern Kingdom on the streets the other day.
Yeah.
There's some of the stuff that comes out of their mouth. You
it makes us
yo,
understand.
you gotta get to the point where you say, yo, get the hands, Satan. That's what you gotta tell them. Yo, you are offense to
I
us.
saw Hosea said, leave y'all alone. I love idols.
Yo, bugged
That was
out.
your kingdom saying, leave you alone.
Listen, man, Northern Kingdom, stick to Judah and just say nothing. Say nothing, you be the greatest king ever in Israel.
Yeah.
Just being quiet.
2 Kings, verse, read again.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse
27.
Verse 27. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Remaliah, began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 20 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin.
Right. Remember that King Jeroboam? Go ahead.
In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and
Abel-Beth-Maacah.
Abel-Beth-Malacah, and Jonoah, and Kadesh, and Hazar, and Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria. And Hoshea, the son of Elah, made a conspiracy against Pekah.
Right, so Hosea conspired against Pekah. Go ahead, who was king? Go ahead.
The son of Ramaliah, and smote him,
And killed him. Go ahead.
and slew him, and reigned in his stead, in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah.
So there was a lot of conspiring and killing amongst ourselves for rulership in Northern Kingdom. It was just horrible, bro. It was really bad with y'all. So now let's jump over to chapter 17, verse 1 to 3. So now we're with Hosea now. Hosea conspired against Pekah, put him to death, became king in his stead. Go ahead.
2 Kings chapter 17, verse 1. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
You never learn. After Jeroboam on some of the bot went off with them idols, y'all never got off of that. Y'all stayed on that forever. Y'all still on idols today. Y'all still on idols. Y'all have not stopped even to this day. Go ahead.
But not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria.
This is Shalmaneser the fifth. This is Shalmaneser the fifth, king of Assyria. Go ahead.
And Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents.
Right, his tributary. That's all we want now. No, read the verse 6. I'm sorry, read the verse 6. Go ahead.
And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea,
Hosea was conspiring against Shalmaneser. Go ahead.
for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison.
Took him away. Go ahead.
Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land,
Second time. Here we go.
and went up to Samaria, and besieged it 3 years.
Go ahead.
In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria, and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Habor, by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes.
See that? The same place that Tiglath-Pileser, his great-grandfather took them, he took them to the same place, placed them in the same areas. Now you may ask, why am I going over this? What is the premise of me going over this regarding Northern Kingdom being placed in these lands? Because many of y'all say, oh, Northern Kingdom is not in the Americas. They're in the lands of the Medes. Yes, they are. But guess what? As I brought out, under Persian liberation, under King Cyrus, we were given liberty to relieve from our lands we were placed in during the time of Assyria and Babylon, and we're allowed to leave and return to our lands. Northern Kingdom, most of them, Northern Kingdom said, we're going to go to a land where never mankind dwelt, which is obviously America, because mankind dwelt everywhere else. I don't know y'all get Africa as mankind ever dwelt. Africa is mankind ever dwelt. You retarded? Are you stupid or something? Africa is a mankind ever dwelt. How can Africa be when mankind ever dwelt when mankind civilization started there? That don't make no damn sense. How can mankind ever had dwelt in Africa when civilization started there? That don't make no sense. That don't make sense. It's retarded. So, or Arabia. Ishmael had Arabia on lock. Anyways, I'm not going to entertain stupidity. Let's go to Wikipedia. I want Scythia. And we're going to end that Scythian culture. Wikipedia. And I'm going to use Wikipedia because you black people have no say in my classes.
Black people.
Just so you're watching me, am I watching you? Scythia.
That's right. Who does that, though?
I don't. You answered. You said it already. It's up on the top.
people.
There you go. It's up on the top. We're gonna end that Scythian cultures.
Scythia, from Greek, Romanized was a region. Where we at? Was a region of Central Eurasia in classical antiquity.
Eurasia is Europe and Asia. Mixing those two connected. Go ahead. Those lands are connected. Go ahead.
Occupied by the Eastern Iranian Scythians, encompassing Central Asia.
Occupied by who?
Iranian Scythians.
Occupied by the Eastern Iranian Scythians. Eastern Iranian Scythians. The Scythians were a sect of Iranians or a sect of Persians initially. Listen to me carefully. It says Eastern Iranian Scythians. They were a sect of Persians or Iranians. Continue. Initially, go ahead.
encompassing Central Asia, parts of Eastern Europe, east of the Vistula River, with the eastern edges of the region.
It says parts of Eastern Europe. They have parts of Russia too. They inhabited parts of Russia. That's what Scythia. Scythia is part of Russia, or is near Russia, or Armenia. It's in that area. You gotta understand that Europe and the so-called Near East are damn near neighbors. It's like right there. That's why it's called Eurasia. That's like Europe and Asia, or Europe and the East, connected together. Go ahead.
Europe east of the Vistula River, with
Whatever that is.
with the eastern edges of the region vaguely defined by the Greeks. The ancient Greeks gave the name Scythia, or Great Scythia, to all the lands northeast of Europe and the northern coast of the Black Sea.
So that landmass, the Greeks called it Scythia. The landmass itself was called Scythia. Go ahead, watch this. So the initial Scythians that inhabited that area were Iranians or Persians. That's why Esau referred to them as Indo-Aryans, something like that. That's why you hear white folks say they're part of the Aryan nation. The Aryan nation. The original Aryans were the Persian elites. The Persian elites. Like you had the Babylonians had the Chaldeans. That was the elites of their nation. The Persians had the Aryans. That was the elites of their nations. Who else? Edom had Teman. That was the elite of that nation. You understand? So the Aryans were initially Persians. We'll continue.
During the Iron Age, the region saw the flourishing of Scythian cultures.
See, the region saw the flourishing of Scythian cultures. Scythian cultures. Now,
And Deacon, that shows you Esau steals everything.
he steals everything.
Because Aryan nations or the Aryans, we think
It's white
you
people.
think it's white people or the
Right.
Germans.
Not.
So Hitler and white people today adopted that type of mentality or that that
Right.
ideology, and the purity, racial purity comes from the ancient Iranians, which were the elite.
That title comes from a
comes
Persian,
from
right.
the Persians.
And even the swastika. If you look at the ancient temple, the Indonesians, those areas,
Yeah.
you'll see they have those swastikas on their temple. Esau stole everything.
Esau doesn't have a mind of their own.
That's why
Esau is everybody.
That's why the Most High said he let their heritage waste. They have no kind of culture,
Nothing.
nothing.
Culture vultures.
Yep.
Culture, yep.
Esau's like Mystique.
Yep.
They take everything. They just take everything for everybody.
Right,
They look
become
at you.
everybody,
I
yep.
want that. I'm gonna transform to you. And then what does she do? She becomes you.
Right.
And acts in place of you. So that's what Esau does.
That's why you deal with history. That's why if you notice Esau always, based upon our studies here, we always find ourselves going over Hamitic culture and Semitic cultures. Esau loves Semitic culture, but you hardly ever hear about Japhetic culture.
Right.
You hardly ever hear about it. You hardly ever hear them mention it. Ever. You hardly ever hear about them mentioning Japhetic languages or
Ever.
Japhetic culture. Is always either Hamitic, Cushitic, or Semitic. Those are the most primary terms you'll hear in terms of archaeology or anthropology or language or linguistics. Semitic, or Hamitic, or Nilotic. But you hardly ever hear the term Japhetic because they stole the identity of Japheth and claimed lineage of them. That's why they call themselves Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardic Jews, because they're not Japheth. You can't be Israel and Japheth at the same time. You can't be
We don't see
Japhetic and
that.
Shem at the same time. And you guys that say that we're fake Jews, that's comical to me, because you got real Jews saying that they're Japheth.
Ashkenazis.
I'm Ashkenazi Jew. I'm Sephardic Jew. What?
I'm a Khazarian. Even Khazarian, comes from the Khazar Mountains.
Right.
That wasn't Esau's land originally.
Right, it was not. So, again, let's just continue going on. Let's go. Click. Where would you go? Read essentially the Scythians. Keep going down after that.
Right here.
The Scythians. Here we there. We're gonna stop at end that Chimerians. You're gonna end that Chimerians.
Yes, sir. The Scythians, the Greeks' name for this initially nomadic people, inhabited Scythia from at least the 11th century BC to the 2nd century AD. In the 7th century BC, the Scythians controlled large swaths of territory throughout Eurasia, from the Black Sea across Siberia.
Eurasia means, again, parts of Europe and Asia, parts of Europe and the East, or so-called Middle East. Go ahead. Eurasia. Go ahead.
From the Black Sea across Siberia to the borders of China.
See? From the Black Sea, that's like Russia, Europe, to China, the Near East or Far East. Their landmass is wide, spread far and wide. Go ahead.
Its location and extent varied over time.
As a matter of fact, that's important to remember. From the Black Sea across the borders of China, keep that in mind, to borders of China, their landmass spread out. Watch this, continue.
But it usually extended farther to the west and significantly farther to the east than is indicated on the map.
Go ahead.
Some sources document that the Scythians were energetic but peaceful people. Not much is known about them.
Keep going. We're going to stop the Cimmerians. Keep going.
Scythia was a loose nomadic empire that originated as early as 8th century BC.
No, I'm sorry. We stopped at ancient Persia. Well, it says, no, I'm sorry, the Scythians, 1 second. Scythians stopped at ancient Persia.
Okay. Scythia was a loose nomadic empire that originated as early as 8th century BC. The core of Scythians preferred a free riding way of life. No writing system that dates to the period has ever been attested. So majority of written information available today about the region and its inhabitants at the time stems from proto-historical writings of ancient civilizations, which had connections to the region, primarily those of ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and ancient Persia.
Right, so those who had, the surviving information regarding the Scythians comes from the ancient Greeks, Romans, and Persians who had interactions with them, okay? Because remember, the ancient Greeks, Rome, and Persia, those lands are connected. Eurasia is the same area landmass. Italy, Greece, Rome, and Persia, okay? Or India is the same landmass, all right? So now, let's go to Scythian cultures. Go back up, click Scythian cultures. Go back up. You saw Scythian cultures and click that. You'll find it. Just go down, Scythian cultures. Yep, right there. And we're going to stop at Cimmerians. It should say the people. It should start at the peoples of the Scythian cultures. It's up in the top.
Go down. Let me start here, Deacon.
You just start from there. We'll get to it.
Scythian cultures also.
Just end at Cimmerians.
All right, yes, sir. Scythian cultures, also referred to as Scythic cultures. I'm gonna jump down. Early nomadic cultures, Scythian civilization, Scythian horizon, Scythian world, or Scythian continuum, were a group of similar archaeological cultures which flourished across the entire Eurasian steppe. During the Iron Age, from approximately the 9th century BC to the 2nd century AD, among Greco-Roman writers, this region was known as Scythia.
Right, including ancient Persians. Read that earlier. Keep going.
The Scythian cultures are characterized by the Scythian triad, which are similar, yet not identical. Styles of weapons, horses, bridles, and Scythian art. The question of how related these cultures were is disputed among scholars.
Right, so it's the Scythian triad, the Scythian three. I think there's three different people regarding Scythians. Go ahead.
The question of how related these cultures were is disputed among scholars. Its peoples were of diverse origins.
As the people of the Scythians were of diverse origins. Diverse origins found among the Scythians, because Scythia was the landmass, not the people, but the landmass itself.
Right.
So as different people came into this area, they all fell under the title of what? Scythians. Keep going.
And included not just Scythians, from which the cultures are named.
It included not just Scythians, go ahead.
From which the cultures are named, but other people as well.
Other people as well, go ahead.
Such as the Cimmerians.
Such as the Cimmerians, whatever. Such as the Cimmerians, go ahead.
The Masagate Saka.
Saka. I want you to keep that in mind. Cimmerians is the name Gomer. Japheth had a son named Magog. He had a son named Tiras, and he had a son named Gomer. Gomer is from which the Cimmerians come from. So Japheth was a real person, because the Cimmerians come from the name Gomer, or Gomerians. Okay, that's Japheth's children, Japheth's descendants. In Europe, Cimmerians come from Gomer, a son of Japheth. I'll say it again. Gomer had descendants called Cimmerians or Cimmerians, okay, who come from Gomer, a child of Japheth. Go ahead. So since Esau won't bring out Japheth, we'll do it for them. Go ahead.
Saka, Sarmatians, and obscured forward steep populations.
So we want to focus on Saka. Focus on so remember, these are different groups of people residing as referred to as Scythians or are a part of the Scythian triad. Or Scythian culture. Cimmerians, well, it's 4 there, but let's just focus on Saka, okay? Now, click Saka. Okay? What's it say there? From the very, very top. The what?
The Saka. Saka, Shaka, Saka, or Sake.
Or Sake. Or Sake.
Oh.
So, no, that's all I really want, to be honest. You can hold on to that. Hold on. Let's get the images of the books I want regarding Scythians, images of the pages. Keep that in mind. The Saka are a part of Scythian culture, or the Sake. Sacae.
And make sure, like I said, make sure your brothers and sisters are taking notes, pencils and paper, write and screenshot all this information. Because, like I said, Deacon Aitan's radio show is a high-level information show. So, like I said, this is not something that you just sit down, watch, kick your feet up, and just eat some popcorn. No, this is an informational radio show, to bring your knowledge to the next level.
Right. So you have the Saka or the Sake or Saka, whatever. I want those images or screenshots of those pages. You know what I'm talking about, right, Jess? It's screenshots of the Scythian. I know I sent y'all those. There we go. Those. Yep. Those. Keep going. Hopefully I sent it in orders. I don't know how I sent it to y'all. Don't put that up. That book page. Don't put that book up. Just put the page. Just the page. I don't even need the book. Just the page. I'm not sure if it's going to be in order, but we'll just start from here. Blow it up some. This is an old book. How old is this book, Jazz? You know?
I
know it's pretty old.
Yeah, probably early 1900s,
yeah.
Late 1800s.
So go up to the top. Was there more on the top? Was cut off? That's fine. Read number 1. Read down.
All right. Number 1. The 10 tribes became known to the ancient Greeks, Persians, and Romans as Sake.
Oh, and what?
And Sake.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. We just read that earlier. That was a culture, a Scythian culture called the Saka or Sake. Go ahead.
For a time, they clustered around the shores of the Black Sea.
Hey, ain't that Europe? Ain't that Eurasia, right? Go ahead.
Scythians and Sake became interchangeable terms.
Because Sake were a culture found among the Scythians. Go ahead.
Being given to the same people.
So Sake or Scythians, same people. Go ahead. Go down.
Number 2, Herodotus, Diodorus, Pliny, and Ptolemy state that these Scythians and Sake inhabiting the regions of the Black Sea are the same as those who came from Media across the Euphrates.
Why they come from Media?
Wow.
Why they come from Media?
We just read it.
We just read it because the Assyrians put them there. The Assyrians put them there. Gozan, Habor, Hala, cities of the Medes. That's how they got over there. They migrated up there. And they even migrated to India and China.
Mm-hmm. And Deacon, people don't realize the confusion in world history is not so much in terms of the migration. The confusion is with the Edomite ruling nations. You said that the Greeks and the Romans gave the 10 tribes Sake or Saka or the Scythians. Mm-hmm. So even throughout history, you have Ptolemy, you have Herodotus.
Pliny.
Right, his ancient historians.
Right.
Ancient historians, yeah. You have even like I said, even with the Indo-Iranians, you have the called Scythians, you have the called Persians or Parsis. All these names, a lot of the times, are Greek gods or Greek names that the ancient Greeks gave title to these nations.
And
Romans. So you have Scythians, you have the Persians. Those are Greek titles that Rome and Greece gave to them to try to hide their true identity. That's why we don't know who they are.
Right.
Because it says Scythians, Indo-Iranians. You have Persians, Indo-Iranians.
Right, Indo-Iranians. Right.
Iranians. I'm sorry, Iranians. You have You have Aryans.
Right.
Those are Indo-Iranians. You have Dravidians.
Dravidians, yeah.
Dravidians to Indo-Iranians.
Initially.
Indo-Iranians. So if you go, if you look at all the different categories and classification of names given, they all come from one people, Elam.
Right.
Persian was later given the title, just like
The Persis, the term
yeah.
Persis.
Parsis was the Greek god, or come from Pegasus.
Okay, yeah.
Pegasus or Parsis.
Okay, the horse.
Yep. That's
Okay.
where Parsis comes from. Pegasus, Parsis.
Okay.
Persians. The Greeks gave it to that name.
Wow.
Damn, so all the names here that you will find in the Bible, Esau erased all that.
Pretty much, and gave them names that they felt were comfortable for them to remember them by. Well, they called that, but we'll call them some. There's a book the bishop brings out all the time. The Greeks changed the Ethiopians, the Cush, Ethiops, burnt-faced.
Right.
Black-faced from now on. You guys Ethiopians over there. You're Egyptians. Rather than Mizraim, you're Egyptians. That's what
Confused
Esau
everything.
do.
That's Josephus. You can find that in
Josephus,
Josephus.
he brings that out. Right,
Confused
they change
everything,
Whatever
everything.
Wherever the white man conquers, he changes their names around.
He came to here. You're Halloweenians.
Right, yeah. Right.
You're
yeah.
Arawakians.
Right,
And
Arawakians.
Taínos.
You're Taínos.
Right.
Because Esau claims that he's God.
Right.
And being a God, you're able to name people. Change. He said, you know what? You're not God. I know you identify them as Elam. I know you identify them as Israel. But we're God now. We're on the scene. We're going to change the names that God gave you because we're God.
Right.
Now you're Iranians. Now you're Syrians. Now you're this. Now you're that.
Right. And the nations who know, who we are and know their fate biblically, they retain those names to keep their identity secret as well, like Moab and Ammon. But China, we'll keep that. Japanese, we'll keep that. Because these nations know who they are. And they know once we figure out who they are biblically, then we learn what they did to us biblically in evil. They'll go, oh, you guys did that to us. You're Moab. Oh, you're Ammon. Oh, this is your judgment. So they hide behind those names that were given to them. They hide behind those names. So all nations are in on that. Even if Esau did change the names and so forth, some of them willfully accept it because they know if they reveal their true selves, it gives the Bible validity. Right. So keep the names out. Keep them biblical names out of here. Let's reject that.
Indeed, that's Psalm 83.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's Psalms 83.
So
exactly
they're all in cahoots with Esau.
Right.
You know?
And that's why the bishop always says, you don't have to call them cracker or this and that.
You got to.
Let's call them Esau, Edom, Esau, Idumean, Edom. That hurts even more.
It does.
Right.
Because we could bring out scriptures all day and nothing you can do about it because it's not our words. It's the Bible.
That's why Mike Reiser is so pissed off.
Yeah.
Mark Edomite, Mark Idumean Edom Riser.
Right. He always mentions the one West Hebrew Israelism. They always focus on Edomites. They always focus on Edomites. No, we don't. But you focus on us focusing on Edomites because you know you're Edom.
Right.
Continue.
That's a terrible judgment, man. If I woke up saying I'm Edom, man, I'll try to scratch my face up.
I'm Esau. Yeah. Go ahead.
We had number 3.
Go ahead.
Number 3, Diodorus says, the Sake sprang from a people in Media who obtained a vast and glorious empire.
So we gained status in the empire that we migrated to. Go ahead.
Pliny says, the Sake were among the most distinguished people of Scythia who settled in Armenia and were called Sake Sinai.
Go ahead. Sake Sinai. Go ahead.
He further states, the Sake were a Scythian race and came from Media. Abanus said the Saxons were descended from the ancient Sake of Asia.
Whoa. We're not going to just bypass that there. You know how Esau says, we're the Anglo-Saxons. Anglo-Saxons! Aryans! Right. You red bastards pride yourselves in calling yourselves Anglo-Saxons, but the Anglo-Saxons descend from the Sake. Read it again.
Abanus says the Saxons were descended from the ancient Sake of Asia.
Now I'm going to get to that later on in the series regarding the Saxons and what that name means. Hell, I might get into it today. Go ahead.
Bring it out. And in the process of time, they came to be called Saxons.
So the Sake came to be called Saxons. Why is that? But we're going to find out what Sake means. Continue.
7. Ptolemy mentions a Scythian people sprung from the Sake by the name of Saxons. British history traced from Egypt and Palestine.
Hold on. British history traced from where?
Traced from Egypt and Palestine.
British history traced from Egypt and Palestine.
He's not talking about the Palestinian.
No, he is not talking about them at all regarding
Why
the
would
Saxons and Scythian people.
Right.
Why would they do that?
What? Continue next one.
Number 8. The self-liberated 10 tribes after leaving Media, became subsequently known as the Scythians,
Go ahead.
either from occupying a region so-called, or else to signify that they were wanderers, which is the import of the name.
So the 10 tribes of Israel migrated there and became known as Scythians.
Bring it out.
That's heavy, Pete.
So now, let's get Colossians 3:11, please. Let's do what Paul was teaching in Colossians 3:11 and why he mentions them so much. Or mentions them. Colossians 3:11 now.
But Paul came to convert the Scythians.
He came to convert the Scythians.
The barbarians, the Greeks.
Yeah.
Oh no. Listen, Paul knows exactly what he was doing.
And what he was saying.
We just don't know.
Yeah. Colossians 3:11.
No, we know, you don't know.
Right.
That's what Christ says. I come for the lost sheep, the house of Israel.
Read that.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 11. Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all.
Because they're all the same. They're all the same people, whether they're circumcised, uncircumcised, whether they're Greek or Jew, whether they're barbarian or Scythian, because the Scythians didn't speak the Greco-Roman language. So the Romans and Greeks referred to them as barbarians, because they spoke a language outside of Greco-Latin. So you were considered barbarian. We were considered barbarians. The Hebrew language is barbaric to the Greeks and Romans.
And Dick, it's like if you not assimilated with them, that's an index.
Right. If you're not
Yeah, they
assimil-
put
if
that
you're not
on
in- if you're not integrated into that society,
Right.
you're a barbarian. You're barbaric. Going back to later on in the series, the Barbary states of North Africa, Northwest Africa, Mauritania, they were referred to as Barbary states or barbarians. Our people over there in Africa were referred to as barbarians also. I'll get to that later on. Give y'all more spoilers. That's later on in the series also. All right? So the Scythians that Paul was referring to and barbarians he was referring to was our people. Christ is in all of them. When they repent, Christ is in all, and he's but Christ is all and in all. I mean, as in all of them, he's in all of us, regardless of our status or our name, whether we're bond or free, our status, whether we're Greek or Jew or circumcised, uncircumcised, barbarian or Scythian, he's in all of us because he dwells with one people. He dwells in one people alone.
The Israelites.
The Israelites, under those names.
Yeah, that's what the scripture says. The Spirit of the Lord, how it goes? The Spirit bear witness that we are the children
of God. Romans 8:16. Right. So Paul went to the Scythians.
Nervous.
Paul, I was what's talking about?
He said, you know? I said, no, I don't know. Wait. What do you mean, do you know? It's your thought.
We sitting here waiting like, oh, what's about to come out?
That thing came and went with the wind.
Right.
He said, no.
Right. So the Scythians were Israelites. The Scythians are Israelites. Well, Israelites were among the Scythians. They were a culture among the Scythians. That's what Paul was referring to. Now, let's get the book.
Can I read it, please?
You want to get
Yeah,
read it?
it's 16, man.
He wants to redeem
Let me
himself.
read for you.
No.
He said, can I read it? No, you can't.
No English.
Wait.
Y'all horrible, man. Go ahead.
Romans chapter 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
Right.
That's
Go ahead.
it. No, I said that's it.
That's it.
That's
right?
it?
That's
I'm good, Cap.
Self-explanatory right there.
Come on. That's
That's
it?
what, that's what Laquat was referring to. He was referring to that.
Oh, okay.
That's scripture. That's right.
Don't let me put you there. Don't mind me, officer.
That's okay. It's all right.
Go back to that book now, the book Origin of the, Origin.
I see how Jess getting, the treatment Jess is getting.
Damn.
Officer Jess is getting.
Yeah, this man been quiet the whole show.
Hit my man learning.
Get that book Origin of page 136. We're gonna start at Ogilvy and at common ancestry.
But Ogilvy
I don't know.
at the top.
There it goes. Yeah, my top. I see right there.
Yes, sir. But Ogilvy did not leave the population of America to some unknown tribe. He thought the Scythians, the ancient inhabitants of Tartary, produce the Indians.
So he thought, so this guy Ogilvy, now Ogilvy is the writer of that book that we bring out with the map of Africa, and it shows where the Jews were in ancient times.
Yeah, very old.
Yeah, the
Ogilvy
myths.
book myths in the Hebrew myths. That was written by a Old Testament professor of Duke University, and he basically was told if he were to release that book, he would lose his job. He was fired because he was bringing up the Jews are black. So he had to give the book a title called Myths and Legends to downplay the facts that he was bringing out regarding our migration in Africa. The bishop brings it out all the time. That book we had used it in Africa. It's a map of Africa. It's in red. Y'all probably seen it. It's in numerous videos he brought out in numerous classes. And it's the same Ogilvy. I mean, it's John Ogilvy, right?
That's not him, D.
Is that the same Ogilvy?
No.
That's Godby. That's Godby.
Gotta be.
But the
this
Ogilvy
book right here is that old ancient book that you have. The old.
Oh yeah, the
joint.
old book. Oh yeah, but the 1670
that
one.
we flew into Africa
We
from
flew-
70 AD.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm mixing it around.
Right.
Yeah, I have a book that's it's older than America. It's 1670.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
is
That's
that
the big book I have.
Oh, that big book you have. Yeah.
And that book
no one could get.
Bishop brought it out. That book goes into how the Jews fled into Africa after 70 AD. That book, and he put that book together.
Right.
And it goes into Charles II Surveyor or whatever. That's this Ogilvy. I mixed those books up. That's the Ogilvy he's referring to. Thank you. That's the Ogilvy he's referring to. But so he had his own questions regarding this the Scythians. Read again. I mean, regarding the Native Americans. Read again.
But Ogilvy did not leave the population of America to some unknown tribe. He thought the Scythians, the ancient inhabitants of Tartary, produced the Indians.
So he thought that the Scythians were where the Native Americans come from. Remember, the lost 10 tribes were Scythians. The Native Americans on this side of the world are the 10 tribes also. So he assumed these are the same people. They got to be the same, as Ogilvy was saying. Because they look the same and they follow the same customs. Go ahead.
He offered in evidence of this claim several characteristics common to both.
Tartary goes back to China, Siberia, that area. Remember, it says that the Scythian culture extended from they extended all the way as far as to China, from like Russia, like Armenia.
It's like on the border of China.
Yeah,
Tartary.
on the border. Tartary's on the border of China. And that's what Esau. That's what Esau says. A lot of Esau was saying, oh, the Native Americans migrated from that area because some of the people that resided in those areas they encountered were Israelites also in that area, Scythians.
And Deacon, when you go to the Museum of Natural History on 81st and Central Park, when you go to like said when you go into the North American Indian section,
That's the fourth floor. Yeah.
See, when you go to the floors, where you see a lot of ancient artifacts of the ancient gods that they worship back then. And like, even with Aztecs, so that's where a lot of the confusion is. The gods that they worship, the artifacts that they constructed, and that will give them the assumption that they were these people, this race of people, based upon the customs that they kept.
Right. The point is that Ogilvy confused the Native Americans on this side of the world with the Scythians because they were the same people. It's the 10 tribes of Israel in both this side of the world and that side of the world. That's why a lot of them assumed that the Native Americans came from that area and walked through some kind of invisible land bridge to this side of the world because they encountered the Scythians, which were Israelites, and they encountered the Native Americans on this side, which were also Israelites. That explains why men like Garcia, Acosta, who was a demon, but Acosta, and many other scholars assumed that the Native Americans were Asian or from Tartary or crossed the land bridge because the people that resided in Tartary, which were the Scythians, were the lost 10 tribes. So they assumed that the Native Americans in them were like a branch off, which is true. They are the same people. They are the same. That's what he's saying in this paragraph. Continue, watch.
He offered in evidence of this claim several characteristics common to both.
See, he offered evidence of the claim, several characteristics that are common to both people, Native Americans and the Scythians, the lost 10 tribes. Go ahead.
In addition to the standard cultural comparisons, Ogilvy argued.
In addition to the standard cultural comparisons, they were doing the same things in China, India, Tartary that they were doing on this side in America. Doing the same thing, looking the same way. Go ahead.
Ogilvy argued that the very diversity of practices among the Indians and Scythians was indicative of a relationship.
So they were the same people. Go ahead.
He noted the width between the eyes, the medium stature, and the downy hair of the chin,
Their hair texture, their features, their eyes. Go ahead.
which he thought indicated a common ancestry.
They look the same. They look the same. Now remember. The northern kingdom were placed in the cities of the Medes, and they intermingled with them. So those features began to change. Then they came over here by ships with those same features because they resided in these lands before they came here. While some of them remained in those lands, Media and India and so forth. Same people, y'all understand? Same people. So Ogilvy assumed the Scythians and Native Americans were of the same stock based upon their physical features, appearance, and their culture. All right? So now, let's get Ezekiel 26. That's all I want. The reason why I say again that Jose de Acosta was a demon is because he was rejecting him being Israel, period. He was evil, he was simple. Being complicated for no reason.
We don't give a damn what Acosta has to say.
Right.
We know who we are. Ezekiel 26 verse what?
Verse 1. So now you understand. Now you understand why in that book, Origins, why you have some scholars saying these guys came from Tartary or they came from China or the East because of the Scythian cultures that they encountered before they came over here. Remember, that's the known world. And then they say there's some kind of imaginary land bridge that connects the old world to this world. Okay, the far east to the new world. That's what they're saying. So they were saying these guys, the Scythians and Native Americans, look alike, same culture, same characteristics. They're the same. They gotta be the same. Right. And they are the same because they're both the 10 tribes. They're both Israelites, both of them. That's why.
Deacon, even some war tactics and so forth that the Native Americans was doing. They said that the Scythians
doing the same.
Doing the same thing.
Like the crossbow and the bow and arrow. We read that in Chronicles 5:18. Right. They were good with the bow and arrow. They were good with that. Man, let's go back to those. Go back to those pages. Go back. There's more. There's more.
And scalping. Also.
And scalping also, right? But that's because they were doing it to us first. Esau, among the Greeks, they were scalping us first. We returned the favor. No, go back to the Scythian pages. Go back. Let that go. Let that go. We got some more. I got some more. I forgot. I can't skip that. Go back to those other pages. Yeah, read. Yeah, jump. Read in the Behustan inscription.
In the Behustan inscription, we find 3 classes of sake referred to.
3 classes of sake referred to, okay? Or Scythians, like the triad. Go ahead.
Namely, the sake named next to India.
The sake named next to India. Named next to India. Go ahead.
The sake who used arrows, and the sake who are said to be beyond the river.
The river what? Euphrates. And they left and came over here. Left and came over here.
There's a scripture beyond the
River Euphrates. Esdras.
Yeah.
Let's get Esdras. Let's get it. Some stayed, some did not.
And there's another one that says.
You talking about Zechariah or Zephaniah?
No, I'm from the second Esdras 13.
No, I know he's talking about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about. Is it Esdras?
Beyond the river of
River Euphrates?
No, there's a scripture beyond the river.
That's Psalms, Zephaniah.
Zephaniah 3 and 12.
That's 3 and 10. That's about
10.
Ethiopia. And beyond the river.
My suppliance.
No, that's Ethiopia.
That's
West Africa and so forth. There's something else.
Okay.
This is Esdras 13.
The book, 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Mm-hmm. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive. Mm-hmm. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Mm-hmm. And they took this counsel among themselves.
We read this earlier in Kings. With Shalmaneser, it's the same history being repeated. Go ahead.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
When they got liberty, they took counsel. When they got liberty to do so, they took liberty. They took counsel and go ahead.
And go forth into a further country
that they knew about through Moses. Go ahead.
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where no mankind dwelt at. Go ahead.
That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
And they did for a while until they started going off again, because the kingdom is prone to idolatry. Go ahead.
And they enter into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. Mm-hmm. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
That's what it's referring to. That's the river is referring to Euphrates. I believe it's in the Jewish Encyclopedia. It says beyond. That's what I'm referring to. But that's what it's going into. They came to this side. That's why there's a question mark. Beyond what river? The Euphrates. They came over here. Now go to the next part. Next image. Read that. Blow that up, please.
Their voluntary removal from their original seat by the Chabar.
Is there more? Is there? Oh, damn. That's it. Read that. The voluntary, go ahead.
Their voluntary removal from their original seat by the Chabar, a fact which would fully accord with the testimony of Esdras and the facts already stated.
Testimony of Esdras. They came to this side of the world.
There you go.
That they left there and came to this side of the world based upon Esdras. So some of them left, most of them left from that area, Tartary, and the Medes, and they sailed around through the Euphrates into the Indian Ocean, past the border under Africa to this side of the world. And I brought that out 10 parts ago, 7 parts ago, 6 parts ago. Next one. This is I don't know. Read that there.
The Hebrews in Maur, as well as those in Bakar.
Yeah, it says the Buddhists and the Sakai. Buddhist goes back to India, where the Scythians resided. Read again.
The Hebrews in Maur, as well as those in Bakar, assured the Reverend J. Wolfe that there are many of the children of Israel of the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun in the Hindu Kush.
In the Hindu Kush. Many of Zebulun, Naphtali, and Zebulun are there. So we don't sit there and say, oh, all 12 tribes in America. We don't ever taught that. We never taught that. The majority of them are here. Go ahead.
Among the Bakawi, and that they lived by robbery and knew the exclamation, Shama Ya Israel. Hear, O Israel.
That's what it would say. Go to the next part. No, go back. It should be more than that. Verse 166, 165. Go down.
That's it.
Read if the Scots were, try to read that part. If the Scots were what? If the Sakas, what does it say?
If the Sakas were of Israelitish origin, we might naturally, can't see the other part deep.
What remains of them, go to the next page. Damn. Let's read that. Isaki, read that part there.
Isaki, a name readily converted into sake.
Stop. Isake, a name readily converted into sake. Isake, a name readily converted to sake. Go ahead.
By the Greeks.
So the Greeks changed their name from, they called themselves Isake, and the Greeks said sake. Go ahead.
Who habitually rendered the names of the barbarians.
Names of who?
The barbarians.
That's Colossians 3:11 again. Go ahead.
Only into approximate sounds.
Go ahead.
It is possible to account for these facts, but on the supposition that they are derived from the real Beni Israel.
Right. And Isake is Isaac. Isake is Isaac. And the Greeks changed it to Sake, Isaac. Isake, Saka is the same people. Children of Isaac. Go ahead. Go. Is there more on this? I think there's another one.
Hey, remember Avatar, the last Airbender? Remember one of the Sokka.
Sokka, yes.
Sokka, the last Airbender. Remember that's a Native American Indian village.
Right, that's Native American. That was what's his name? Sokka was the Sokka
brother.
was the brother. Yes. And Korra is a Hebrew name for winter. Korra is a Hebrew name for winter.
Yeah, these guys are demons.
I'm telling you, that's it. Read that bottom part there.
And you know one thing too, right? Like any regular people would read that would never understand what it starts talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Read that there.
We have supposed them to have been named Sake after Isaac.
After who?
Isaac.
There you go. After Isaac. Go ahead.
And here, in the very seat of the Sake of old, we find large numbers of people professing to be Israelites, calling themselves.
Go over.
Hey, wait, Deacon, go back to the first page we read.
That's the first page.
Now we could kind of link that up.
Right, calling themselves Isake. Going back, go back. Calling themselves what? Isake.
Isake, a name readily converted into sake.
By the Greeks. See that? So Saka or Sake is Isaac.
Hey, Deacon, there's something else. Go back a couple pages, man.
Big man.
Go back.
I don't got enough. I don't got
Right
any
here.
more money, man, to buy these books.
I'm
Steve.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yo, like I can't do it anymore, man.
You found something, Jess?
D, can we read this bottom part?
Read
right
the
here?
bottom part. The Ephraimite. Oh, damn. Go ahead, read that.
The Ephraimites, or house of Isaac, were notable as bowmen. And here, the use of the arrow is given as characteristic of one division of the Sake.
There you go.
And you missed that part. Psalm 78, verse 9.
Yep. Psalm 78, verse 9. Go ahead.
As it was of the Sake that Cyrus and Alexander the Great encountered to their cost.
We were killing them. When they got over there, we started giving them problems. Go ahead.
And we know the Saxons that fought their way to England were also famous bowmen.
Because Saxon means Isaac too. And Anglo means angelic. Angelic, sons of Isaac.
Damn.
Anglo, Saxon. Isaac, Saxon. I'll get to that later on. Later on.
We just linking things up right
Making
now.
it together for y'all. Putting it together for y'all. I know it's complicated. It's going to be 200 views this video.
If you guys,
What?
yeah, if you
Smoke come out
guys,
your ears. Smoke coming out.
if you guys would like to donate, help my cause. I got a problem. I don't know if I can feed my family anymore.
Oh,
I need these books, Deacon. I can't do anymore.
Cat, man, we got you, man.
You got me, man?
Don't worry about it.
Please.
All right. We just
Yo,
buy
what,
the book
yo,
and,
Biden or Trump, one of them need to give me the money. Show me the money. Show me the check, baby. I'm going book shopping.
But the stimulus, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Come on
Something.
now.
Yo, I can't. I have mad books in my shopping cart. I can't purchase.
Yeah,
All I do is look at them.
window shopping.
I also want to open up a fund as well. I have a tree. I want to kill it in my front yard.
Everybody.
Kill the tree fund. The tree's mad tall. It's ruining my house.
That's going against my fund.
Like $2,000.
I'm trying to get books.
Yeah, I'm pulling rank. I need like $2,000-$3,000. The tree's over 100 feet tall. Because it's killing my gutters and it's destroying my grass, blocking my sunlight. So I need y'all to donate to the kill the pine tree fund.
Hey, Dick, I'll kill it for you.
No,
Give me a couple books.
Oh man. So
Just make sure you have insurance in your house.
yeah, exactly. So we had the fall right into the house. Bow. So you have Zebulun, Naphtali, and the Ephraimites, who are referred to as the house of Isaac, residing in these areas, Eurasian areas. That'll be from Armenia, the Caucasus Mountains. They were up in there, all up in to India, to Tartary. And when white man went over there, so these guys remind us of Native Americans. They remind us of the Scythians we encountered over there. They must be the same, common origin, because Ogilby was a traveler. So these guys must have a common. They use the bow, look the same. They keep the same culture. They gotta be a common ancestry. We read that earlier on page 136 with Ogilby. So I'm showing you they were called the sons of Isaac. That's the 10 tribes: Ephraim, Zebulun, Naphtali. Then you had Northern Kingdom on this side of the world who were good with bowmen also. Same thing. Gad, Reuben, Manasseh. Same thing. We're just putting it together for y'all. Esau had it together. We're playing catch up.
Right.
Hey, D, can I say something?
Yeah. Oh, finally.
Shoot. Yo.
Hold on.
Hey, they said I'll be under curse. Last hire, first fire.
Hold on, everybody.
You're on probation.
Hold on, Israel. Hold on.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
it says in Sirach 19:30, it says, "A man's attire that sets the laster in his gate show who he is."
Right,
So just
okay.
like it was, yeah. That's
Very
what-
good. All praises. Yeah.
All praises, man. All praises.
Short and simple, man. All crazy. We about to kick you off the show.
Yeah. If you sit on the floor.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
We'll give you the helmet. Put the helmet on while you're at it, too. And cross your legs.
You're right. All praises. That's good. You're right about that.
All praises, man.
Show what he is. Right. Ezekiel 26, verse 1 to 7. We're going to read a whole lot this one. So we got through that. All right. Okay. We got through that.
So that shows why the Anglo-Saxon use them Edomite or not Anglo-Saxon.
We read earlier that the Anglo-Saxons descend from the Sakai,
Son of Isaac.
all those Scythians, the sons of Isaac. They descend from them. They're the same people.
You're the son of the devil.
That will be your King Arthur. That would be your. We'll get to that later also.
Oh, man, D.
That'll be your King Arthur, all your knights of the round table, all
Big,
of
you
that.
doing
We're gonna get into all of
doing
that.
this, D?
We're gonna do not today, but we're gonna get there.
Hey, so y'all look out, man.
Yeah, I'm
Y'all
about
look
to
out
start
for this
collecting
stuff.
We're gonna
bottles.
get there. We're gonna get there.
I'm about to start collecting bottles, man.
There's
Buy
one
some more
movie I
books.
watched. It's called The Legend of the Sword. The King Arthur movie, Legend of the Sword.
Yes, sir.
You-
Oh, the newest one?
The newest one.
Oh, God.
That's
You
bad.
watch
That
that.
movie
You
bad.
watch that
Ugh.
thing. You watch that thing. He grabs the sword and he gets the power from that sword.
One
You
swing.
watch. The reason why we watch those things and we like it is because that's Esau depicting themselves as us. That's why we watch these things and go, "Why is this movie so good? Why is it so great?" Because it's us. Every historical, like, powerful figure, whether legendary, mythical, who was real, was primarily Israel. Hannibal was Jake. Spartacus was Jake. King Arthur was Jake. All these people, you're like, oh, damn, well, who wasn't Jake? Then everybody was damn near Jake. Everybody was Israel.
And,
almost.
and Deacon, they always try to say, you got Mark, Esau, Idumean Riser try to say that, they try to claim heritage to everybody. God damn it, because we are everybody.
Right,
Yeah.
we are everybody.
Shoot, Israel's the salt of the earth. We are the sand of the sea.
That's it.
So we are everybody. We were
That's right.
everywhere. Damn it, we ruled Europe. Damn it, we ruled everywhere. And guess what? When God give us that power again,
gonna rule
we're
everywhere
gonna
again.
take everywhere again, and we're gonna be everything again.
We're going to be everybody, too.
We are the world.
Yeah, we are the world, right?
We are the world. That's right, baby.
We are the
All
children.
We are the children, right?
We are the children. We are the
All
world.
praises.
Jess, you got a line?
No, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't.
Not right now.
No, not ever. Not ever.
I'm gonna practice on break.
Yeah, on break. Yeah, all praises. Mess around, and cut us off YouTube. Ezekiel 26, verse 1.
I've been humiliated enough.
Read that.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing, Cap.
Ezekiel 26, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, because that Tyrus hath said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken that was the gates of the people. She is turned unto me. I shall be replenished. Now she is laid waste. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and I will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causeth his waves to come up.
This is a prophecy of Ezekiel against Tyrus, Tyrus, or the Sidonians, or Canaanites, referred to as Tyrus. I said the city was called Tyrus. Go ahead.
And they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus,
So Tyrus would be attacked and destroyed eventually. Go ahead. We're gonna read the verse 7. Go ahead.
and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her, and make her like the top of a rock. It shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea. For I have spoken it, saith the Lord God. And it shall become a spoil to the nations. And the daughters which are in the field shall be slain by the sword. And they shall know that I am the Lord. For thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
So this Tyrus here is not symbolic to America. This Tyrus is literally referring to Tyrus, because he will send Nebuchadnezzar, or king of Babylon, against it. Go ahead.
A king of kings from the north, with horses and with chariots, and with horsemen and companies, and much people.
So he sent Nebuchadnezzar against Tyrus. Tyrus was a powerful empire in terms of merchandise. They were the ancient Amazon or Walmart or Costco's of old time. In Israel, we had jobs there. We had jobs. We had trading jobs working with them, working under them on the ships and so forth. We were the shipmen. Now, let's get verse 8 and down to 21. Continue.
Verse 8. He shall slay with the sword thy daughters in the field, and he shall make a fort against thee, and cast a mount against thee, and lift up the buckler against thee. And he shall set engines.
Engines.
Sorry.
The hell? Eng9s? What the hell is an Eng9? Oh, no. He did a Jezreel move. He said chihuahuas and gorillas. He said Ek9? What the hell is an Ek9?
Eggnog?
Oh.
You think about eggnog?
Yo, Cap, that was crazy,
no.
Cap.
You think about eggnog,
I think you sound Haitian. You Levi. Woo.
Back passe.
Oh, man. La Boule.
Oh.
Cap,
Oh.
you need me to take over, man. Just let me know, man.
Wow.
Can we say about eggnog, Cap?
Eggnog. Mother got Christmas on his mind. Christmas on his mind. They repent. That's idolatry.
Oh, I got cases on all of you guys.
Oh,
cases
my
on
God.
you. Excuse me, Israel. I had a very black moment just now.
Oh,
I apologize.
wow. Let's read 9 again.
Yes.
With the proper English. Oh, man.
Breathe, Cap, breathe,
All
man.
right, I'm sorry, guys. I'm black. Here it
Oh,
goes.
man.
Verse 8. He shall slay with the sword thy daughters in the field, And he shall make a fort against thee, and cast a mount against thee, and lift up the buckler against thee. And he shall set engines of war against thy walls.
There we go. Against thy wall. He shall set engines of war against thy walls. Go ahead.
And with his axes he shall break down thy towers.
And go ahead. Go ahead.
By reason of the abundance of his horses, their dust shall cover thee. Thy walls shall shake at the noise of the horsemen, and of the wheels, and of the chariots, when he shall enter into thy gates, as men enter into a city wherein is made a breach.
So it's going into Nebuchadnezzar attacking Tyrus, attacking Tyre. They were getting arrogant and boastful in their business endeavors, and they would start saying they start to exalt themselves too much. Go ahead. So he starts sending nations against them, starting with Nebuchadnezzar, either Nebuchadnezzar or the Assyrians first. But Nebuchadnezzar came against them harder. Go ahead.
With the hoofs of his horses shall he tread down all thy streets. He shall slay thy people by the sword, and thy strong garrison shall go down to the ground. And they shall make a spoil of thy riches, and make a prey of thy merchandise. And they shall break down thy walls, and destroy thy pleasant houses. And they shall lay thy stones and thy timber and thy dust in the midst of the water. And I will cause the noise of thy songs to cease, and the sound of thy harps shall be no more heard. And I will make thee like the top of a rock. Thou shalt be a place to spread nets upon. Thou shalt be built no more. For I, the Lord, have spoken it,
Right.
saith the Lord
In
God.
time, eventually, this place becomes ruins. Later on in time, and Paul goes there, it's like ruins. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord God of Tyrus, shall not the isles shake at the sound of thy fall, when the one wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in the midst of thee? Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones, and lay away their robes, and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground, and shall tremble at every moment, and be astonished at thee.
That you fell, that you conquered, because Tyrus is powerful. Go ahead.
And they shall take up a lamentation for thee, and say to thee, how art thou destroyed, that was inhabited of seafaring men?
Of seafaring men, they did their sails across the sea. They sailed the seas. And Israel, of course, eventually joined in that business with them. Go ahead. Like Hiram and Solomon, same thing. They were seafaring men. Go ahead. They dealt with trade and shipment. Go ahead. They dealt with import-export. They dealt with. Go ahead.
The renowned city, which was strong in the sea.
Which was strong in the sea. Go ahead.
She and her inhabitants, which caused the terror to be on all that hunted. Now shall the isles tremble in the day of thy fall. Yeah, the isles that are in the sea shall be troubled at thy departure.
At your falling. Go ahead. This took time. This wasn't 1, 2, 3. This took time. It took conquest after conquest. Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord God, when I shall make thee a desolate city, like the cities that are not inhabited, when I shall bring up the deep upon thee, and great water shall cover thee.
Nations overthrow you. Great nations. Go ahead.
When I shall bring thee down with them that descend into the pit, with the people of old time, and shall set thee in the low parts of the earth, and places desolate of old, with them that go down to the pit, that thou not be inhabited, and I shall set glory in the land of the living. I will make thee a terror, and thou shalt be no more. Though thou be sought for, yet shalt thou never be found again, saith the Lord God.
Right. So now, let's get Caesar and Christ now. Page 39. Page 39. This book is good. Caesar and Christ. Page 39. And we're going to start. We're going to start at the sieges. Page 39. We're going to start at the sieges and we're going to end and take a break. Go on a break. Real quick break. Let me see it. Let me see. Page 39. Let me go there with you. Page 39. Page 39, page 39. Yeah, go to the sieges.
Yes, right here.
And we're gonna stop at Africa.
The Sieges of Tyre by Shalmaneser.
So the Assyrians, Shalmaneser III, attacked them first. Go ahead.
Nebuchadnezzar
That's Nebuchadnezzar. That's same Nebuchadnezzar again. You read that in Ezekiel. Go ahead.
and Alexander.
Alexander the Great delivered the destructive blow. He destroyed them entirely. That's what Ezekiel's prophesying of their conquest. But he mentions Nebuchadnezzar. But the Assyrians attacked them and diminished their power. The Assyrians attacked them, diminished their power. Babylon attacked them, diminished it. Alexander overthrew it entirely. It was bad. It was a bloodbath, a slaughter. We'll go into that. Go ahead.
And Alexander drove many wealthy Tyrians to Africa.
He drove many wealthy Tyrians to Africa, and our people resided there, and we fled there along. We fled there too, after Alexander's slaughter. Or when we heard about him, we fled there also. Go ahead. I'm sorry, to Africa.
That's it, right?
That's
Yes,
all I
sir.
want. So we're gonna take a break. Give your mind some time to rest. Stay tuned. We got way more for y'all.
Put that brain on ice.
Put your brain on ice, right? All right. So shalom.
All right.
Shalom.
Yeah. You might not know. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Jump in the situation, contemplating how it's no problem, solve everything. With the Bible, tell the people that the end is getting closer. The smoke will blow you over. The vengeance of the Lord. Look, I don't see how you living. You spent your whole life wildin', profiling a nobody. When you should have been an Israelite or somebody. A light thing, this ain't nothing for a maker. May the Lord save you, may the Lord keep you, may the Lord bless you. May He show you how to be enlightened, take you to a schooling and show you about His laws. Turn you to a changed man, a made man, a just man, adjusting to the holy land. Don't start nothing, then it wouldn't be nothing then. Let me tell you what you're dealing with. We the Israelites, we the Israelites, we the Israelites. Don't start nothing, then it wouldn't be nothing then. Let me tell you who you messing with. We the Israelites, we the Israelites, we the Israelites. Yeah. Put on your fringes, don't never cut your beard. Take heed to the laws, cause God is who you fear. It started with a little faith and then it got bigger. Understand commandments got you feeling a little different. Pressure bust price, feel the pressure, stop sinning. A humble and beginner, start reading the book of Genesis. A stumbling block for memory, but the chosen got the remedy. Reading through the book, got you feeling like it's history. Read about the ships and now you feeling that it's meant to be a parable. I know it's shareable, something that's memorable. Literally the spiritual, cursing for a visual. It's a breathtaking feeling when you find out you're Israel. Don't start nothing, then it wouldn't be nothing then. Let me tell you what you're dealing with. We the Israelites, we the Israelites, we the Israelites. Don't start nothing, then it wouldn't be nothing then. Let me tell you who you messing with. We the Israelites, we the Israelites, we the Israelites. Sabbath coming in, got everything before the evening. My head stay knocking to Israelite music. Studied session last night and it was off the heathen. Brothers in the spirit saying thank you, Jesus. Simplicity of Christ, but the flesh won't make it easy. Test me before you bless me in different season. We trying to rule the world so they gon' charge us for treason. No reason for the panic, the spirit automatic. Our righteousness should always make the sinner feel the tension. The acts of the apostles, can you keep a secret? I see this like a movie, catching up suspense. We're catching their attention, we're raising their suspicion. Don't start nothing, then it wouldn't be nothing then. Let me tell you what you're dealing with. We the Israelites, we the Israelites, we the Israelites. Don't start nothing, then it wouldn't be nothing then. Let me tell you who you messing with. We the Israelites, we the Israelites, we the Israelites. Yeah.
right, gentlemen, everything checked out. Now I got one question. What's those on the bottom of y'all shirt?
We're the Israelites.
In this situation, contemplating how it's no problem, solve everything with the Bible. Tell the people that the end is getting closer. The smoke will blow you over. The vengeance of the Lord. Look out to see how you do it.
Hey, is that a bird? Is it a plane? Hey, but they black. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. It's real, it's the greatest that you ever seen, and ain't no mistake, y'all. Hey, greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. It's real, it's the greatest that you ever seen, ain't no mistake, y'all. Sing the Lord a new song, I'm sending up praises. Y'all's amazing, quicken my spirit so heavenly. Kept me alive for another day, his mercy rains down heavily. Charity making a better me. You ain't seeking repentance, you better be. Wanna make it to heaven and see the king? Can't imagine the kingdom is about to be. 12 gates with the 12 name, 12 foundation, 4 walls round. 12 angels standing at the gates with some kings rocking 12-point crown. I'm just speaking the prophecy, teaching it properly. Jacob, now wake up, return to the Lord. Holy Joseph, that's where you slaying, man. Nations gon' fall on the glittering sword. Faster than a speeding bullet, we look like a locomotive or a plane. Spiritual X-Men with the power, fighting red juggernauts, that's Cain. Trusting the prophecy, and he came. Stay in the book, but this ain't no comic. Gotta do power, I spit flames. MC, you see how I'm coming. Hawk out with the vision, I'm hooked with the hammer. War machine, and we bringing the damage. Iron Man, we too heavy to handle. We got the light, they can't blow out the candle. Prince of the power with purple rain. Israelite law on my brain. Kal-El, I'm a Superman. I'm in the booth, looking how I change. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. Keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. It's really the greatest that you ever seen, and ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. It's really the greatest that you ever seen, ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm telling you straight, my nation the greatest that you ever witnessed, and ain't no mistake. Holding my head, yeah, I said what I said. I stand on my word, so clear me some space. I'm taking my place, #1 on the podium. Heathens is salty, they full of their sodium. Earth is ours, yeah, we taking it over. Got spiritual power, word is Jehovah. Hey, hallelujah, I'm sending up praises. Look, it's amazing. Chariot wheel whipping through the atmosphere. Independence Day, whoa, we out of here. Yo, this prophecy properly moving. It's manifest destiny, life is a movie. Heavenly screenwriter with the wordplay, and our life is living what the word say. I endure to the end. I want a reward, a ruler should crown me. I was groping at noonday. I was lost in the dark, yeah, how can't found me. Now I'm here on a mission. We used to be under derision. I dare them to clown me. Won't hear from the heathen when we in the kingdom. They legacy never be found, B. I'm a ministry mover. I used to be out here a loser, but now I'm a changed man. I died in the flesh, but now I'm a god, so now you can call me an X-Man. It's miraculous, marvelous men. Black as a night and they can't comprehend. End of the world is just to begin, and move out the wake up the faith coming in. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. Keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. It's really the greatest that you ever seen, and ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. It's really the greatest that you ever seen, ain't no mistake, y'all. Ain't no mistake.
So boys, what y'all doing, man? Y'all putting 50 here? What y'all got right there? Who that you got right there? Oh, you strong, huh? Who is that?
Captain America and Wolverine and Thor and Iron Man.
Okay. What is this? Where y'all get this from? Man, one of these damn evangelists that came over here and gave you some bull crap. What is this? Heavenly Mother. Y'all look, hey, y'all want to learn about some superheroes? Let me show y'all what the real superhero is.
G2 to turn that thing up.
You listening to the mirror of my soul. Hope you look into this mirror and see gold. Not cause you arrogant, but more like cause you chose Israel born grade 8. Even if we ain't make the honor roll, oh, all praise to the most high, so great good. For sending his angels down to my neighborhood. Misunderstood, we've been wounded and beat. Traumatized from the stuff we had to do in the streets. But what you expect after everything that was done? They gave drugs to our parents, of course it damaged their sons. They told us we was inferior ever since we was young. And their system said we wouldn't make it past 21. Subjugation in this wicked nation. The gates of hell won't prevail, even with the odds we facing. The God that we serve, bringing down their devastation. That's why all my real saints gon' have patience. You already know. It's a disturbance inside the matrix. My kinfolk, the most high servants finally awakened. Our MO, reclaiming the heritage that was taken. What you didn't know, we bringing honor back to the nation. My ancestors' memories give me energy. Every time I speak the truth in these similes. I seen people stand up against the enemy and watch their character get assassinated like Kennedy. To infinity and beyond the projects. We were sent to the hood to refine your mindset, but they coming up in oppositions against the one that was heaven sent. I guess they did like they medicine, subjugation in this wicked nation. The gates of hell won't prevail, even with the eyes we facing. The God that we serve, bringing down their devastation. That's why all the real saints gonna have patience. We already know.
And roll as our bodies hit the flow. Taking our land from us wasn't enough. They wanted more buffalo skulls, plus injected with smallpox. Sweet words to the cheek, them kisses jaded just like the locks. Taking over blocks, green lights, we are non-stop. I tried to be a devil, got converted like drop tops. If keys open doors like some dances, we pop locks. The Israelites is everywhere, they know we a hot topic. I'm saying we make more change than counting 100 pennies, or someone who made a milli off selling his soul for dough. We ain't niggas no more, don't use hands no more. Rather the Bible to slap out all of that idol worship and devil courtship. Ain't a game, I don't need sportsmanship, especially after how you tortured us. Damn, this is the end of the road for you. Kingdom coming down, forever smoking. It's beautiful.
Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block. Shake 'em down, we go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock. Ayy, I'm a workaholic, boy, don't play with me. Ayy, no breaks, do this till the death of me. I'm with Elohim, careful what you say to me. What you talk. We been the chosen ones, I heard you claim to be. Yeah. What do you got, ayy, what do you got? What do you got, cause talk is cheap. What do you got, you see me say? Yeah, we got that remedy. What do you got, ayy, what do you got? Heard you got that kill for me. What do you got, cause I need help? What do you got, cause talk is cheap? So I dedicate to do this every week, yeah. We not moving corners, so they thinking that we weak, yeah. Never get it twisted, ayy, don't sleep. We the sanctified, we pull up to your hood to clean the sheet, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm blessed, Wolfie on the crest, yeah. All I do is raving, praying for the rest. To the east, from the west, on a quest, never rest. About that work, dog, about it, I'm obsessed, yeah. Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock.
Hit the block, make it hot, they be shocked, that's a wop. Watch a doctorate, head chop, body drop. Get the mop, this a jam, this a bop. For the flock, top of top. How much love, that's a lot. On the quest, not a yacht. Got a Glock, it don't pop, that's a prop. Nigga stop, ain't no fear in the mirror. Check your spirit watch, we just pick a corner. We any money on. From here to California, we pull up and it's a corner. Kamikaze sliding like conveyor bells. If you try to play the prophet, you gon' play yourself. Saturday to day, we on the way with help. Big soldier, we take orders like okay, what else? Check the stats, all facts, never cap. We be everywhere we at, on the map, in the trap. Me and Ja, back to back, boots black, script strap. This is with that, this and that. Friday night, take a nap. We wake up, it's a wrap.
Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock. Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, this is how we rock.
Listen, what we say?
I feel blessed, got good people in my life, but still I pay love, even though sometimes we fight. Sometimes, but me not change up, no. Me not change up, no. But me not change up, no. Me not change up, no way. Never could have trust in a boy. If you can't go through the thick thing, then you not qualified. Never drop your guard around the boy. Only do that with the people, them where you not bonify, my youth. Watch them, the one time you deny them when them ask something, you want know them friend. Bad breed, them a problem. Yeah, but to feed you a snare circle and stay far from them. Small crew, nah, me no need enough. Nah, your friends stay with you when it time rough. A real friend don't turn them back. Always keep it real and don't put on a act. No act. Oh, you fi turn your back on your people. Why some people so evil? Watch for the snake, don't make them deceive you. Rain don't fire upon you. I feel blessed, got good people in my life. But still I pay love, even though sometimes we fight. Sometimes. But me not change up, no. Me not change up, no. But me not change up, no. Me not change up, no way.
Me not change up. Me remember the struggle when me have a water coming on me eye. Nothing can face us. Me brother Malachi used to cook the banana and oil. Depression never break us. We face the tribulation every day, but we never know why. While everybody hates us, we still a wake up in the morning and praise the Most High. God just send a blessing, it a rain on me. Militant soldier in the army, and he bless me with the laws and the testimony. Some go and hold the faith and give
I feel blessed, got good people in my life. But still I pay love, even though sometimes we fight. Sometimes. But me not change up, no. Me not change up, no. But me not change up, no. Me not change up, no way.
I coulda anywhere we go. We not change cause we never grow so. Little dirty junk up. Them a change like lizard like them never know you. No for them my friend for an occasion. Them against the truth, them turn pagan. Them a cockroach jaw for the bacon. Betray man, them a roll with Satan. Please me, I beg you, judge, watch you over me. Protect my soul from my enemies. Them want to see me, them want to see the best of me. Them want me 6 foot deep down in the cemetery. Please me, I beg you, judge, watch you over me. Protect my soul from my enemies. Them want to see me, them want to see the best of me. Them want me 6 foot deep down in the cemetery.
I feel blessed, got good people in my life. But still I pay love, even though sometimes we fight. Sometimes. But me not change up, no. Me not change up, no. But me not change up, no. Me not change up, no way.
All right, we're back. Welcome to Our Hidden History Radio. We left off talking about the Tyrians, but I want to backtrack really quick about the Scythians. There's one more thing I left out. I want to just bring this to a close regarding the Scythians. Just one last thing here. Just go to the highlighted part, just to further conclude the Scythians here. All right, so let's read that real quick. Then we're going to go back to Tyree again. So let's touch on it real quick. Yeah.
The Scythians, the Getae.
That's another name for them. Getae, Scythians, same thing. Go ahead.
Thracians is what another name of Japheth's son. That's Tyrus. Okay, that area, the Teresians, Tyrus, or Japheth's son Tyrus, they were referred to as Teresians. The Greeks changed their name to Thracians, or Thrace. That's the son of Japheth also. So that region where Japheth inhabited, they inhabited Scythia. The Cimmerians were there earlier. That was Japheth's son. The Thracians were initially, that was Japheth's land, Japheth's son's land. Cimmerian, Gomer. Thrace is Tyrus. So you had us dwelling in these lands. Go ahead. And Goths.
The Goths are also Japheth as well. The Goths, that goes back to the Gauls. That's of course that changes later on. I'll get into that later on. Go ahead.
Having thus been traced to one common origin.
Because Israel resided in those areas. So the people in these lands have one common origin. Go ahead.
are as being rather different names for the same people.
See, different names, because it was just the same people resided in these lands, but they fell under these names. Go ahead.
There can be no reasonable doubt but that these represented the descendants of the 10 tribes.
See that? So the 10 tribes represented the Scythians. Thank you. Scythians, Getae, Thracians, like Spartacus was a Thracian. Spartacus and the Goths. Now the Goths was Jake, but the Visigoths was Esau. I'll get into that later on. That's Spanish Inquisition. That's Queen Isabella and Ferdinand. They were Visigoths. That's Esau version of Goths. But the Goths were black. Japheth first, then Israel moved up in there. And we became Goths also. Go ahead.
Who had escaped from the Assyrian captivity.
See that? They migrated there from the Assyrian. We read that earlier. They migrated there during the Assyrian captivity. Go ahead.
It has also been seen that some of these migrated into Asia Minor and thus joined the Greco-Israelites in their colonies there.
And then they joined the Greek-speaking Israelites also. They joined them in the colonies there. Okay? So again, you can't deny the facts. The facts is this is called cross-referencing. I'm bringing it all together. Now let's go back to...
And that's where Paul was going
That's
to.
what Paul was
Asia
teaching. That's what Paul was going to. The Greek, Greco-Israelites. And the Scythians and the God. Right. All right. So where were we at? We were in
Ezekiel
27.
Oh,
We're in 27 now.
Yes.
We just finished Caesar and Christ. There was a siege. The Assyrians attacked Tyre. The Babylonians attacked Tyre, and the Alexander the Great delivered the final blow that destroyed Tyre forever. It was a wrap. They became ruins after that. All right, let's get Ezekiel 27, verse 1.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 27, verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Now, thou son of man, take up a lamentation of Tyrus, and say unto Tyrus, O thou that art situate at the entry of the sea, which art a merchant of the people for many isles.
See that? So Tyrus was a merchant of the people for many lands or isles. They were the merchants. All the merchandise you wanted, fish, ware, whatever, you go to them. They were the Walmart. They were the Amazon of ancient times. They were the Costco's. They were the BJ's. They were the Aldi's. They were the whatever of ancient times. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord God, O Tyrus, thou hast said, I am of a perfect beauty. Thy borders are in the midst of the seas. Thy builders have perfected thy beauty.
Go ahead.
They have made all thy ship boards of fir trees of Sinir. They have taken cedars from Lebanon to make masts for thee.
Mm-hmm.
Of the oaks of Bashan have they made thy oars. The company of the Asherites.
Going into their ships, what they use to build their ships to travel.
They have some bad
They had
ships.
some bad ships. I'm gonna get into that later on.
strong
We had
ships,
some. They had massive. Listen, because you know dumb Negroes. Oh, Native Americans couldn't have traveled here in ships because the white man is God. Only he can make big ships. Y'all retarded. Y'all a bunch of dumbass people, man. You don't understand. You don't understand the technological advancements that the dark nations had before Esau became the Greeks.
Deacon, you know what's the problem? Because under Esau advanced during the Industrial Revolution, and that's when their technology started to spring forth. You know, for the steamboats and stuff like that.
Right.
That's when the technology started to spring forth. Because they just came out the caves knowing nothing. But so they didn't have no information. So they just start to build up, and as Esau's building up technologically, that's when, like I said, we lost our heritage. We lost our any knowledge of what we used to do. So now only thing we know of technology is what we see before us. Esau's just catching up.
Right.
We've been had that stuff. Well,
Like
not
the-
to this level, not the
Not
TV
to this
stuff
level.
like that.
Right. And like the scripture says, is weak. So he need a machine to help him further his thing because we built it by hand. You understand? That's why up till today he don't understand how the pyramid was being built.
And he still can't replicate it.
Right.
Still can't.
By hand.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
hand.
So he's so weak, so he need a machine
Yeah.
to help.
He's lazy.
Right.
That's it.
Pretty much. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 6. Of the oaks of Bashan have they made thine oars. The company of the Asherites have made thy benches of ivory.
Asherites is the Assyrians. The Assyrians assisted in helping them. Go ahead.
Brought out of the isles of Shittim.
Out of the Isles of Japheth. Of Kittim is Italy. Kittim. Kittim is Rome, Italy. Japheth, go ahead.
Fine linen with broidered work from Egypt was that which thou spreadest forth to be thy sail. Blue and purple from the isles of Elisha was that which covereth thee. The inhabitants of Zidon and Arvad were thy mariners.
Well, that mariners, the boatmen. Go ahead.
Thy wise men, O Tyrus, that were in thee were thy pilots.
The wise men were the pilots, the ones that sailed. They were the wise men. Go ahead.
The ancients of Gabal and the wise men thereof were in thee thy caulkers.
Thy caulkers. Those are the guys, those are the stonework. Remember we read that earlier, the Gabalites, the Giblites. They're the ones that, they were our stone squarers. They're the ones that helped us build that temple. Okay? They called Gabal as Giblites. We had them as our slaves. Some had them build things for us. They were stone squarers. They were good with stone. Cutting stone is the rock cutters. They were good with that stuff, the Gabal. Go ahead.
All the ships of the sea with their mariners were in thee to occupy thy merchandise.
All those in the sea were used to carry off your merchandise. They dealt with import, export. When you were selling stuff that came primarily from Tyre. Most merchandise in the old world came from Tyre. These guys were multi-billionaires, Tyrians. That's why they said, that's why I started getting arrogant. We're God, we're beautiful, we can't be defeated. The Lord said, okay, I'm going to take you guys down. You're getting too arrogant. Go ahead.
They of Persia and of Lud and of Put were in thy army.
Put is Libya, of thy army. Go ahead.
Thy men of war. They hanged the shield and helmet in thee. They set forth thy comeliness. The men of Arvad with thy army were upon thy walls round about, and the Gammadims were in thy towers. They hanged their shields upon thy walls around about. They have made thy beauty perfect.
They're a strong army. Go ahead.
Tarshish was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of all kind of riches. With silver, iron, tin, lead, they traded in thy fairs. Javan, Tubal,
Greece, go ahead.
And Mekesh.
Javan, Tubal, Meshech.
They were thy merchants.
Japheth, go ahead.
They traded the persons of men and vessels of brass in thy market.
They sold slaves in your market. They sold slaves and vessels of brass in the market. You had slaves being sold by them. This is also parallel to America as well, regarding business and importing, exporting. This goes back, this parallels America as well. Go ahead.
They of the house of Targamuth traded in thy fairs with horses and horsemen and mules.
Togarmah is the child of Japheth. Togarmah, go ahead.
The men of Dedan were thy merchants.
And I mentioned earlier, Cimmerians, some of y'all may have heard of an area today called Crimea. Crimea. I think it's around Russia somewhere, called Crimea. That's Gomer too. That's Cimmerian. That's Crimea. That name still survives today. That's the child of Japheth also. Go ahead. Including Togarmah, is the children of Japheth. Go ahead.
They of the Targamuth traded in the fairs with horses and horsemen and mules. The men of Dedan were thy merchants. Many isles were the merchandise of thy hand. They brought thee for a present horns of ivory and ebony.
Ebony and ivory. Go ahead.
Syria was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of the wares of thy making.
See, so all the nations were helping sell Tyre's products. And they were their shipmen, and they were their military to protect them, and protect their merchandise. Everybody was dealing with terrorists on that level of trade. Go ahead.
They occupy in thy fairs with emeralds, purple, embroidered work, and fine linen, and coral, and agate. Judah and the land of Israel, they were thy merchants.
See, he worked for them too. We had jobs with them too. We were merchantmen too. Watch. Go ahead.
They traded in thy market wheat of Minnith, and panag, and honey, and oil, and balm.
We bought stuff. We bought things from them. We bought it back to Israel and we sold it again. Like I said, you buy it wholesale from them, you bring it and resell it again in your land. That's what Israel was doing. Go ahead.
Damascus was thy merchant.
That's Syria. Go ahead. Central Syria. Go ahead.
And the multitude of the wares of thy making, for the multitude of all riches, and the wine of Helbon, and white wool.
White wool. Go ahead.
Dan also and Javan.
Dan and who?
And Javan.
Javan. Dan and Javan. That's Greece again. So Dan, the tribe of Dan, and Javan, Japheth. Go ahead.
Going to and fro, occupy in thy fairs.
So Dan and Javan will go to and fro, occupy. Dan went over there. Dan ended up migrating to Japheth also, to Greece, and resided there as well. Okay? A lot of them became known as Spartans. Okay? Northern Kingdom went over there to Greece and became Spartans. This is giving you history of how we migrated over there. We were dealing with merchant. When you're a merchant and you're a shipman, sometimes you'll sail the seas, you travel the world, you selling, you buying stuff, merchandise. You go, you know what? I'm going to stay here. And we stay where we were at. That's why we read earlier in the book, Caesar and Christ. It says we established posts, and we ended up staying in those areas. Tarsus, Italy, southern Spain, North Africa. We would sail because Sidon, they had the whole Mediterranean Sea on lock.
Right.
That's what their merchandise was. They had the merchandise on lock. The Mediterranean Sea was theirs. There are parts of Greece. There are parts of Italy is theirs. There are parts of Spain was theirs. There are parts of Africa was theirs, into Libya. All that was theirs. And Israel was occupied in those affairs until they were overthrown. And eventually the Assyrians started coming against them because they started getting arrogant. Babylon came against them, and Alexander was the final blow. I'm going to get into that. He was the final blow. That was the end of their empire. That was the end of their merchandise at this point. Go ahead, and Israel ends up taking over where they left off. We took over that. We took over that whole thing. Go ahead.
Dan also and Javan, going to and fro, occupy in thy fairs. Bright iron, cassia, and calamus were in thy market.
See, that's we brought those things back. Dan sailed the sea also. Go ahead.
Dedan was thy merchant in precious clothes for chariots. Arabia and all the princes of Kedar, they occupied with thee in lambs and rams and goats, and these were the merchants. The merchants of Sheba and Ramah, they were in thy merchants, they occupied.
Dedan, was thy merchant in precious clothes for chariots. Arabia and all the princes of Kedar. Kedar is Ishmael's son. Arabia is Ishmael as well, and other different groups like Midian and so forth as Arabia. They occupied with thee in lambs and rams. They bought lambs and rams from you and goats from you. And these are thy merchants. Go ahead.
The merchants of Sheba and Ramah, they were thy merchants. They occupied in thy fairs with chief of all spices and with precious stones and gold. Hiran and Cana and Eden, the merchants of Sheba, Ashur and Chelmad were thy merchants.
Assyria again. Go ahead.
These were thy merchants in all sorts of things.
Right. So these nations contributed these different things to their lands, and they also bought them to their lands. So it was a trade. All this is trade. This is trade. This is Revelations 18 in the Old Testament. Trade, business, trade, stocks, trade. That's what we're reading in the Bible here. All nations were involved. Israel was also involved in the merchandise. We were merchants as well. What does a merchant do? They buy and they sell. What do they do with importing and exporting? Whether they were the shipmen themselves that would travel the ships to themselves, they were the seafaring men, they were the mariners, they were the pilots of the ships, and they would travel to these areas or bring it back home, or they would live there, travel and stay there. Go ahead. Judah did it, Israel. You read that Dan was involved. All Israel was involved. Go ahead.
These are thy merchants of all sorts of things, in blue clothes and embroidered work, and in the chests of rich apparel, bound with cords, and made of cedar among thy merchandise. The ships of Tarshish did sing of thee in thy market, and thou wast replenished and made very glorious in the midst of the seas. Thy rowers have brought thee in the great waters. The east wind hath broken thee in the midst of the sea.
Because they had rowboats. They had giant. They were all go like this, rowboats. A bunch big, but they had big ships, and they were all roll like that, back and forth. Go ahead.
Thy riches and thy fairs, thy merchandise, thy mariners, and thy pilots, thy caulkers, and the occupiers of thy merchandise, and all thy men of war that are in thee, and in all thy company which is in the midst of thee, shall fall into midst of the seas in the day of thy ruin.
You're going to fall eventually. You'll be overthrown. Go ahead.
The Cerbers shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots, and all that handle the oar, the mariners, and all the pilots of the sea.
All your shipmates. Go ahead. Shipmen, go ahead.
Shall come down from their ships. They shall stand upon the land.
Because you'll be overthrown. You're all going to lose their job. Get fired. You'll be no more. Go ahead.
And shall cause their voice to be heard against thee, and shall cry bitterly, and shall cast up dust upon their heads. They shall wallow themselves in the ashes, and they shall make themselves utterly bald for thee, and gird them with sackcloth, and they shall weep for thee with bitterness of heart and bitter wailing.
This is all parallels to America as well. In Revelation 18, alas, alas, the great city Babylon is fallen, is fallen. It's the same thing. So it's it's parallel to America. It's going back and forth. Go ahead. The same fate that befell Tyrus for her arrogance and pride. It was the same fate for America and her arrogance and pride regarding her business and her trade and her endeavors and her evils. Remember, we heard earlier that Tyrus was involved in what? It says, my merchants, they traded the persons of men and vessels of brass in thy market. What did America do? The same exact thing.
Deacon, can I bring something out real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Put it on the
Revelation.
screen. Enlarge it. Can you see that? Bring it to the right. No. Go over. Enlarge it. All right. Bring that. Can you see that, Jess? Just to show you the parallel of Tyrus, like I said, Esau, when it comes to the scriptures, Esau reads in Revelation 13, it talks about him taking on the attributes of the lion, the bear, what else was it, and a leopard.
Right.
So Esau takes on all the attributes. He reads the way he gets culture.
Right,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. America is pretty much a compilation of every major empire that ruled in ancient time today, pretty much. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, don't dig in. So this was obtained from the Museum of Natural History on 81st Street in Central Park. Just to show you the comparison, the parallel, and also going into Revelation chapter 18, in which Deacon was going to bring out. So that's where we want to go next to for the Deacon. All right, Jess?
Yes, sir.
Can you do us the pleasure, sir?
Excuse me. Portuguese merchants dominated this infamous trade until they were outpaced by Great Britain in the mid-17th century. Denmark, France, and the Netherlands, Spain, and the United States were also active participants.
That sounds like who? That sounds like the European Union. The 10 common markets.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. That's what I'm saying. Same thing.
Go on.
With the abolition of the slave trade by European nations during the early 19th century, the rise of industrialization, and the introduction of steamship along long-distance trade routes.
That's why, and Daniel and Zach, and that's why in Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 5, it says, "By thy great wisdom." What was thy great wisdom? The industrialization of the trade routes and the steamboats. It was thy great wisdom to create the steamboats that was able to accelerate their trade to making America the biggest economic superpower on the earth.
The international demand for an array of Central Africa's natural resources accelerated. Timber, ivory, gold, dust, ground nuts, rubber, beeswax, gems, and dye woods became...
That says guns.
Guns.
And dye woods.
And dye woods became the focus of exports acquired through systems of coerced labor. King Leopold II of Belgium...
Oh, this guy. Jesus Christ.
This guy's Hitler. He's worse than everybody.
Yeah.
King Leopold II of Belgium oversaw the most ruthless exploitation.
Rubber plantations in the Congo. This guy was cutting people's hands, our people's hands and limbs off during rubber plantations. King Leopold, the bastard.
In 1890, the novelist Joseph Conrad observed firsthand the brutality perpetrated by agents of Leopold's Congo Free State and requisitioning forced labor to harvest rubber and ivory. Its policies led to the decimation of the remaining population by disease, the reduction of the agricultural system to subsistence, the dismantling of existing commercial networks, and the abandonment of traditional vocations, such as ironworking and wood carving. The pain and suffering inflicted on Congo communities is inscribed in detail within the spiraling bands of ivory, tusk, carved for export in Loango.
That's where Israel was, in Loango. Go ahead.
They depict columns of subjugated slaves and forced laborers chained to one another, headed to toil in the New World or to exploit local resources for European profit.
That's Revelation 18:10 to the T.
Yeah. In Loango, the book the bishop brought out is called The Jews of Loango. It's an old book we have, which is the Jews of Loango being involved in that slave trade. This says the same thing. All right? Revelation 18, real quick. Revelation 18, verse 13.
That's exactly what Revelation 18 right there.
Right. So Tyrus America is a reflection of major empires of the old world, all comprised into one. America is comprised. Every major captivity that Israel's been in, America has pretty much adapted into itself to become the most powerful empire in a short amount of time.
Because Deacon, Usually with rule and conquering, in order to be a superpower, you have to gain access over all the commodities, all the goods.
Right.
So that's why Esau gained and enslaved and subjugated the different South America, North America, Central America, because that's where all the resources was coming
And
from.
North Africa, Central
Yup.
Africa, and East Africa, and West Africa.
If you control the goods, you control the world.
Right. Revelation 18, verse
11.
Yeah, 13. 11, real quick.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and of fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood, and vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of precious wood and of brass and iron and marble.
You read all of this in Ezekiel 27. You read the same exact commodities. All these things trade, same thing. Church trading the same thing. Go ahead.
And cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men.
My Bible says bodies. Bodies.
Right.
And souls of men. Damn. Slaves, same thing. Go ahead. Jump to verse 15.
The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her.
See that? So Tyrus, remember, nations traded with Tyrus, and they sold for Tyrus. So they all got rich together. All nations got rich together with Tyrus, including Israel. Israelites got rich also with Tyrus. That's why I said earlier, we read earlier, that wealthy Tyrians fled from Tyre when Alexander came against it. Those wealthy Tyrians not only were just Tyrians, you had Israelites that were wealthy also, and they ran to Africa too. All right? Go ahead.
The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple, and scarlet, and decked with gold.
That was so beautiful. Go ahead.
And precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster,
her shipmen, her sailors, her pilots. Go ahead.
And all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea.
As what?
As many as trade by sea.
As trade by sea. The Bible calls it traffic in Ezekiel 28. It's called traffic, trade by sea. Go ahead.
Stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate.
That's it. That's all I want. Go back to Ezekiel again. Completely parallel. Completely parallel. America is a complete parallel of every major old world kingdom of ancient time, from Egypt to Tyrus to Babylon to Assyria to Persia to Greece to Rome. America is all of that in one. That's why she's the last and the worst of all of them. Because she literally adopted. You understand, when it comes to empires, Esau is smart because Esau has power and has gained access to all the records of all the dark nations that were overthrown and conquered. And he learned from their mistakes and said, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to do that. And they became mighty fast. You know, America's new. America ain't old. 1776 is what? 240-something years?
Yeah.
That ain't a long time at all. And America's the most powerful superpower on the freaking earth.
Makes no sense.
That's not normal. That's supernatural.
And also, Dick, if you look at it like you said, he compiled all the other nations,
right,
and bring it to his kingdom. And also, when you read the scripture, like all the other nations, we knew who we was as the Israelite. That's what the scripture says. Whenever we're in captivity, going through hell, we cry unto the Lord, and He saved us. This time around, we don't know who we are.
Right, so we
cannot cry unto the Lord.
Right.
So then, therefore, the Lord is not really coming to save us.
We're coming regardless, but it's just going to take us time, yeah.
Right, but He changed our name, so now we don't know who we are.
Right. He basically, Esau said what we'll do is we're going to hinder them from doing so.
Right.
They can't call into their God. They don't know who their God is.
Right, exactly.
This guy, I'll read something real quick. This guy made a point. I'm going to share something. This guy, he said, his name was Henrik Clark. He said, a people will never be free when they worship a God assigned to them. And they can never respect the black father in the home when they have a white father hanging on the wall.
Damn.
That's by Dr. Henrik Clark.
Damn, wait, Deacon, one more time, please. One more time.
Dr. Henrik Clark says a people will never be free when they worship a God assigned to them. And they can never respect the black father in the home when they have a white father hanging on the wall.
Damn.
All right?
That's your Caesar Borgia.
That's Caesar Borgia. That's your daddy.
Yo, Deke, I need a second to breathe, man.
Joe Biden. That's
your Joe Biden. Biden! That's your white father. That's your white father.
Crazy yesterday by the cap, man.
Crazy. I didn't know what that was. You know,
yeah.
Yo.
That's them blowing
No,
their
that
horn.
was no horn. It was a bang, 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 bang.
I thought
That was crazy yesterday.
I thought that was Creole
We
or
got,
something.
we got a new master. We got a new master. Let's dance. It's coons.
Crazy, yo.
And so pretty much the black father, he's not even in the home. He's there, but he really not there because they worshiping his
Right, the real white father.
Whereas black people starting to return back to the fathers, and Biden came back in place, says, "Daddy's home.
Right,
come back,
come
to
back.
me.
Come back to me.
Owe you that labor."
Heavy laden.
White Jesus came to save everybody.
Yep, old white Jesus.
But it's heavy. America looks at, and what America was also able to do was they was able to digitize the trade. The import and export system, the trading of goods. And that's why he said when you look at things, the world revolves around import and export, trade, trafficking. The world in it's called, the global market is called the stock market, the stocks. Right. And now the way they make everybody rich, because you have corporations in Revelations 18. But now you have investors that all buy into the stock market, and that's how America's the wealthiest country, because it was able to digitize it.
Right. Digital age. We're in a digital age now.
The digital age.
Money, digital age.
And that's how they was able to even furthermore, because why? Now they're getting funded for all the public, and they're able to advance themselves even furthermore. And that's why, like I said, you have the stock market, because we were the first stock.
We were the stock, yes. We were the stock.
We were the first stock.
We're gonna visit that area when we were stock. We were sold. We're gonna visit that later on when it gets warm again. We're gonna start doing some explorations of New York.
And they stopped with this lockdown stuff.
Yeah, and they stopped with this lockdown stuff. Right now, Biden's not old man white Jesus is president.
Yeah, maybe
possibly
give
president.
vaccine.
Possibly president. Things are gonna turn back to normal. I assure you.
Yeah, he's not elected in yet.
Yeah, that's what I said. Possibly. Go to Ezekiel now. To Ezekiel 27. Let's continue. Let's finish it up. I'm gonna get to my try to get to my next point. Chop it. Come on. 27. Where we at? Verse what? 31.
Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 31.
Yeah.
And they shall make themselves utterly bald for thee, and gird them with sackcloth, and they shall weep for thee with bitterness of heart and bitter willing.
The same for Babylon in the future. Go ahead. Remember, I brought to y'all a few episodes ago about how Ezekiel 28, how Sidon or Tyre Sidon is a prophecy not only referring to Tyrus itself, but other arrogant empires prophetically foretold later on, like it mentions Thessalonians that Paul spoke about. I brought that out in episodes ago regarding Ezekiel 28. The chapter next is going into Tyrus and other arrogant empires that came after her, like Assyria, Babylon, Greece, Rome, and America. This all goes back to that too. Go ahead. They all parallel each other. Go ahead.
And in their willing they shall take up lamentation for thee and lament over thee, saying, wait, what city is like Tyrus? Like the destroyed in the midst of the sea.
Like America, destroyed in the midst of the sea. What city is like Babylon? Same thing being said. Go ahead.
When thy wares went forth out of the seas, thou fillest many people.
Everybody bought from you. Go ahead.
Thou didst enrich the kings of the earth with the multitude of thy riches and of thy merchandise.
We just read this in Revelation 18.
Right.
We just read this. It's completely parallel. Go ahead.
And the time when thou shalt be broken by the seas in the depths of the waters, thy merchandise and all thy company in the midst of these shall fall.
The reason why you keep saying midst of the sea, because remember I brought to you earlier, you had old Tyre on the mainland and you had new Tyre, the island called Ziri Island. That was new Tyre. Tyre had a little island across in the sea from the main island. Nebuchadnezzar attacks the mainland. I'm going to get to that. He attacks the mainland and breaks those walls down. But while he's doing that, while he's besieging the mainland, they ran into the island. They sailed off. So he's all mad because all the main gold and wealth and riches was in the island part of Tyre, new Tyre. So he overthrew old Tyre. No one was there. He was pissed. So he didn't know if he didn't successfully overthrow Tyre, that was the beginning of their decline, the beginning of it. He starts setting nations against it, like he's going to send nations against this place here. Go ahead.
All the inhabitants of the isles shall be astonished at thee, and the king shall be sore afraid. They shall be troubled in their countenance. The merchants among the people shall hiss at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shall be any more.
Right. Now, let's go to Isaiah 23, verse 1. This is going to sum it all up. Isaiah 23, verse 1.
You know what? America, damn, I'm just thinking about it now. America's going to suffer the judgment of Tyre. They're going to suffer the judgment of Egypt. They're going to suffer the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah.
All the above.
All the above.
The nations, right.
They're going to suffer the greatest judgment ever seen.
The worst ever of all.
Ever. Damn.
Isaiah 23, verse
So
1.
almost I call it the Great Hall.
Yep. Isaiah 23, verse 1 to 3.
Isaiah 23, verse 1. The burden of Tyre, howl, ye ships of Tarshish.
Remember, Tarshish is located where? In the Mediterranean Sea. Tyre had the Mediterranean Sea on lock. That's where all the trade routes took place. That's where they would travel and sell their wares. And collect their wares and so forth to sell. Go ahead.
For it is laid waste, so that there is no house, no entering in from the land of Shittim. It is revealed to them.
In the land of Kittim, it is revealed to them. Same thing, Kittim, Shittim, whatever. It is revealed to them. It is revealed to them. Wait, it don't matter. It don't matter, Cap.
Is it a tomato thing?
Yeah, that's what I call it, tomato, as far as I'm concerned. It is the land of Kittim, it is revealed to them. It says, from the land of Kittim, it is revealed to them. Why land of Kittim? Hold that, get Maccabees real quick. For Maccabees, I think that's what I want. Let me see. I hope I ain't miss. Let me see something. Let me make sure. That's what I want. Let me get it. Do I want this? Hold on.
So when you read in the Bible, like I said, sometimes it's hard for us to
Yep,
visualize.
that's what I want.
You got it?
Yeah, verse 101.
First Maccabees chapter 1. You said 1 verse 1?
Yep, it says, from the land of Kittim, it is revealed to them. Why is it saying the land of Kittim is revealed to them? Watch this.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened, after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim.
Out of where?
Kittim.
Out of the land of where?
Kittim.
Alexander, the son of Philip, who came out of the land of Kittim, because he overthrows them. Go ahead.
Has smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
Right, go back to Isaiah now. Read Isaiah 23, verse 1 again.
Isaiah chapter 23, verse 1. It says, the burden of Tyre, howl ye ships of Tarshish, for it is laid waste, so that there is no house, no entering in. From the land of Kittim, it is revealed
because
to them.
Kittim is revealed to them, meaning Kittim is Alexander the Great comes and attacks them. Kittim is revealed to them, meaning Alexander the Great comes and overthrows them. That's why it says how, because Alexander the Great delivers the final blow against Tyre. That was it. Once he came through, it was a wrap. Assyria came, attacked them, failed. Babylon came, attacked them, failed. Alexander, where they failed, he succeeded. Go ahead.
Be still, ye inhabitants of the isles.
Of the island, go ahead. He attacked the island. Remember, they fled from the mainland because Nebuchadnezzar attacked it. So they ended up being forced to dwell in the island, and they sold their stuff there. It was like a fortified bunch of walls. It was a big island. It was a fortified city with surrounding walls on an island. So you can't get in there. There's the only way to get there is to sail. So you can't really attack them because they have the advantage. They're a land surrounded by walls, an island. There's no way to get there but by sea. So how was Alexander able to conquer them if he attack them by ship? You can't attack them by ship. You understand? Because there's an island there. They're on top of the wall. They just shoot the ship, shoot at you. They have the advantage because they're up top, right? So how was he able to conquer them? We're gonna get that. Alexander was a war genius. We're gonna find out how he did it. He used the ruins of old Tyre to conquer them on the island. I'm gonna show you what he did. But go ahead.
Yeah,
He was a genius. That was a mighty sodomite, boy. Verse 3.
That's why he was mighty.
Yeah.
He was sodomite so
His
much.
behind hole was so big he had time to think.
Oh. Well, wait, why did you drop a bomb? You dropped the wrong bomb.
Yeah, dropped the fart bomb.
Yeah.
He ran through so much he had time to think. Yeah, that bomb.
My man dropped the bomb on that one.
Yeah, literally.
Verse 3. That was that.
Yo, you fired, bro.
I don't know what that was. Don't play that again. Read verse 3 again. We're going to disregard that noise. I don't know what that was. Read verse 3.
And by great waters, the seed of Sihor, the harvest of the river is her revenue. And she is a mart of nations.
Read that part again. She is what?
And she is a mart of nations.
She is a mart.
Damn.
Like a supermarket or Mart, Quickie Mart, like Simpsons or Mart.
Walmart.
Walmart, Kmart.
Wow.
She is the mart of nations. She is the mart of the nations. All nations go to her. She's the supermarket. She's the Amazon. She's the Kmart. She's the Walmart of every BJ's. She is all of that. That's what Tyree was before Alexander came and closed shop. And when Alexander came and closed shop, she got new owners. And those owners was us. We became the new owners. Okay? And that's how you get Hannibal in them. But we're getting there. Nehemiah 13.
Look what? We want to go, Deacon.
Nehemiah 13, verse 15.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 15.
Yeah.
In those days saw I Judah some tread in wine presses on the Sabbath,
Right.
and bring it in sheaves, and laden asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testify against them in a day wherein they sold victuals.
They're selling food. Go ahead.
There dwelt men of Tyre, also therein, which brought fish.
They dwelt men who? Men of who?
There dwelt men of Tyre also therein,
They're selling. Tyree, men of Tyree selling stuff to us. Go ahead.
which there dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware.
All manner of clothing, wear, all different things to sell. Go ahead. To us. Go
And
ahead.
sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah.
And they were selling to us. We were doing business with them. That's
And-
Isaiah 13. That's in Ezekiel 26, 27, Isaiah 23. Go ahead.
And in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, What evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us, and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should be no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice.
They lodge outside the gates. They're still selling us stuff. Go ahead.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, Why lodge ye about the wall?
Why are you still here? Go ahead.
If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
You come here again, I'm going to hurt you. Go ahead.
From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath.
So the men of Tyre, they was like, this guy out here, man. So Nehemiah told them, come here again, I'm going to hurt y'all. Don't come here again. So the men of Tyre were doing business with Israel. I'm just showing y'all the history that is that during this time, Tyre was still doing their business. This is during the time of the Persians. They were doing their business, selling us stuff on the Sabbath. Before Nehemiah came on the scene and set Israel straight, do not buy on the Sabbath. Okay? Now, let's get Zechariah 9, verse 3 to 4. In Zechariah 9, verse 3 to 4, we're going to read what happened in the Bible historically to Tyrus. Remember, it says Kittim is revealed to him. Zechariah 9, verse 3 to 4.
Zechariah chapter 9, verse 3. And Tyrus did build herself a stronghold, and heaped up silver as the dust, and fine gold as the mire of the streets.
Wealth, go ahead.
Behold, the Lord will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea, and she shall be devoured with fire.
Because Alexander burned that island down to the ground. Once he got in there, because it was a disrespect. They disrespected him. And he got mad, and he went in there. He killed everybody. They pissed Alexander off. Because Alexander's very peaceful. He come, he learn from you. Okay, you can subject yourself to me. You can maintain be as yourself. Just let me, be my tributary. You good. They disrespected him. He said, oh, okay, you want to disrespect me? All right. You guys will be arrogant in your little island. I got something for you. And he massacred, bro. He massacred a lot of them. Israel who stayed there got killed too. Israel who had sense, they dipped and fled where? Africa. All right? Where, what? Tyree had the colony over there from the time of what? Dido and Alyssa. All right? Now, let's get, did I send you this? Ancient.eu, Tyree. No, get Amos 8. No, get Amos 1 verse 10. Amos, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. Amos chapter 1 verse 10.
The book of Amos chapter 1 verse 10. But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof.
That's Alexander's fire. Now, get 1 Maccabees 1 verse 2. We read 1 already. I jumped ahead, but that's all right. Let's just jump to verse 2. Alexander the Great came out of Kittim, son of Philip, came out of Kittim, blah, blah, blah. Read verse 2 now. 1 Maccabees 1 verse 2.
1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 2. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
Dark nations of the earth. Go ahead.
And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
He conquered all the old world in 12 years. 20 years old he started, 32 he finished. Go ahead.
And he gathered a mighty strongholds, and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
Right, stop. So that's what happened there. He wanted to be tributaries unto him. So nations that were cooperative, let him live. We were cooperative. He ain't bother us. His men did when he died, but he was cool with us. But Tyrus, something happened. Let's go to ancient.eu/Tyree. I think I sent you that. Oh, just type that in. ancient.eu/Tyree/.
That dude did damage.
Might be Britannica. I don't remember.
Said the earth was quiet.
Yeah, that means no one bothered.
He's a force to be reckoned with.
Y'all remember, it says the earth was quiet with Solomon ruled too. Right. Nobody bothered us when we ruled. That's it. We're going to start with Alexander the Great and the siege. That should be a section somewhere. Alexander the Great and the siege.
Right here.
We're going to start at where it says the king now, and we're going to end at survivors. We're going to end at north of Africa. The king now. And it should say north of Africa. You can just type in finding page.
You see it?
Where is it? Highlighted. I can't see.
Go up.
The king now. The king now, right there. Yep, that's it. Right. Thank you. The king now, we're going to end at north of Africa. North of Africa, we'll stop there. Go ahead.
Alexander the Great and the siege.
Alexander the Great and the siege. Watch.
The king now, not the priest, was the bridge between the temporal and celestial worlds.
This is their belief, the Tyree. The king, it says not the priest, was a bridge between their nonsense worlds, their ideal of worlds and supernatural, underworld, blah, blah, blah. That was their ritual. Go ahead.
And the needs of the heavenly gods could closely correspond with the political exegesis of the palace. This new religious policy encouraged a more closely knit bond among the people of the city by designating them as set apart from the other city-states of Phoenicia, and so special in the eyes of their God.
Right, so this ritual was separated the new Tyree, the island Tyree, from the mainland Tyree. Go ahead. They perform this ritual. Go ahead.
Go down.
So special in the eyes of God, writes the king even.
The king even introduced an elaborate new ceremonial to celebrate the annual festival of Melkart.
Melkart. Now, Melkart is from which the name Hamilcar comes. They worship Melkart. Remember, Northern Kingdom assimilated with the Canaanites. The Canaanites and Tyrians are one and the same. Sidonians, they're the same. Northern Kingdom assimilated, not all of them, but a lot of them assimilated into the culture of the Canaanites or Sidonians, and they worshipped the god Melkart, or named themselves after him, like Hamilcar. Hannibal's father's name was Hamilcar. Hamilcar is Hamilcart. Melkart, Hamilcart. Same thing, they worshipped him. Like Hannibal, they worship Baal. Hannibal. Go ahead.
Each spring, in a carefully choreographed festival called the Egregious, an effigy of the god was placed on a giant raft before being ritually burnt as it drifted out to sea, while hymns were sung by the assembled crowds. For the Tyrians, as for many other ancient Near Eastern peoples, the emphasis fell upon the restorative properties of fire. For the god himself was not destroyed, but revived by the smoke.
This sounds like the phoenix almost, like the nonsense. The bird dies, turns to ashes, and is born again, blah, blah, blah. Same nonsense. Go ahead.
And the burning of the effigy thus represented rebirth.
Right, see? Same thing, the phoenix. Same thing, nonsense. Go ahead.
To emphasize the importance of the Egregious in maintaining the internal cohesion of the Tyrian people, all foreigners had to leave the city for the duration of the ceremony. It was this ceremony and the importance it held for the people, which would bring about Tyre's destruction and the slaughter or enslavement of the populace. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great arrived at the city.
Here we go. Go ahead.
Fresh from the subjugation of Sidon.
Fresh from subjugating Sidon on the mainland. So he came to the island now. Go ahead.
And demanded Tyre's surrender. Following Sidon's lead, the Tyrians acknowledged Alexander's greatness and presented him with gifts. All seemed to be going well and pleased with their submission.
Remember, he wanted to make them his tributaries. Remember that? That's the plan. Go ahead.
Alexander said he would present a sacrifice in honor of their god in the temple of Melkart.
So I want to go to your temple, Alexander said, and sacrifice to your god myself. He wasn't allowed to do that. Only the king can do that. Go ahead.
The Tyrians could not allow this, as it would be sacrilegious for a foreigner to present a sacrifice in the holy home of their god.
You're not allowed to do that. Go ahead.
And even more so, as the ceremony of the Egregious was close at hand. The historian Worthington presents what followed. Alsmilk, king of Tyre, proposed a compromise. Tyre will become Alexander's ally, but he should sacrifice on the mainland at Old Tyre.
If you want sacrifice, that's fine, but sacrifice on the mainland. Don't sacrifice on the island. Sacrifice on the Old Tyre, the mainland, instead. Go ahead.
Opposite the island.
Opposite the island, right across. Go ahead.
An angry Alexander sent envoys to say this was unacceptable.
He said, no, I want to sacrifice on your island. They was like, no. So that's what happened. Go ahead.
And that the Tyrians had to surrender. They murdered the envoys and threw them off their walls. Alexander then ordered the siege of Tyre.
So he killed Tyre killed his men and threw them off the walls. So Tyre attacked them. Go ahead.
He dismantled much of the old mainland city of Ushu, as well as using fallen debris, rock, and felled trees, filling in the sea between the mainland and the island to create a land bridge for his war's machines.
Stop! Stop!
Yo, what kind of rage was that?
You see what he did?
Wow.
That's Esau.
You see what Esau did?
Yo, how do you do that?
He took the ruins from Old Tyre. Remember, Nebuchadnezzar attacked it, and he overthrew it. Knocked the walls down, like he said in Ezekiel, and then they fled from there to the island. He took the ruins of that and put the rocks and the stones and put all of that in the water from the mainland to the island. So he could get there and attack them.
Made a bridge.
He made a bridge.
Yo, wait, Dick.
And the land bridge is still there now.
Wait, Dick. This bridge, I mean, he filled it up.
He filled the water up. He filled the ocean up.
That's rage.
Yo.
That's rage.
He filled the water up with rocks until there's a bridge.
Died for it. Some of his men died for that.
Yeah, he said, I'm gonna get you.
Yo, what kind of rage is that?
He was pissed.
Yo, what kind of piss is that?
He was pissed.
Just so he couldn't sacrifice, man.
Yo, think about it. After a while, you lift that first rock. You said, "Damn, that's kind of heavy." You know, let's do something different. My man was so pissed. He said, "Nah, we gonna build this bridge."
Damn, where we at?
Keep going.
Over the centuries, since this caused heavy sedimentation to occur and permanently link the island to the mainland, which is
So it's no longer an island anymore. Now it's part of the mainland because the bridge he made, the sedimentary basically formed the bridge. And now it's no longer an island now. Now it's part of the land. You can walk across. Go ahead.
Hey, McDillan's bigger now.
Right. So Trinity Land bigger now. Right. Go ahead.
Which is why Tyre is not an island today.
See?
After a siege of 7 months, Alexander.
After a siege of 7 months.
Wait, do we have pictures of it?
You can get a picture. We can get a picture of Zeri
Yeah, I
Island.
wanna see that.
I really want to see this.
It's called Zeri Island. Zireh Island.
That was never heard of before. Somebody created,
Created a man-made bridge. It's a man-made bridge. He still does it all the time, but this is
different.
It's different. Zeri Island.
Right now, you saw in his military has a boat that does that.
Wow.
He has a boat that make the bridge over the water, and all this machine goes right through it.
I've seen it.
There you go.
It's crazy. Damn.
My man built the bridge in 7 months.
Had a wood,
You got
trees,
Zeri Island there? Zeri Island?
trees, debris, and rocks.
How you mad for 7 months? He said, this guy sunned me. That's like the movie with 300. Remember when he says, you come to me.
Earth and water.
Earth
300?
and water?
300.
Right.
You coming with me, the heads of kings? This is water.
You threaten my wife and my people. Is that right? Which one?
Yeah,
What's
they
the-
try to do that.
Slavery.
They didn't realize what
Yeah,
they were dealing with.
get a good depiction of the land, the bridge.
You see the red, white, blue. That's the colors left behind from Alexander's gayness. Going over the bridge. That's his gate. That's the orb of his gayness.
That's sodomite rage.
Hey, don't
Sodomite rage.
drop no bombs either, man.
Yeah. Drop fairy dust. There, bruh. There you go. What are y'all doing? What's this?
Hey, just type in land bridge to Tyre.
Yeah. Land bridge to Zeri Island. Type in land bridge to Zeri Island, something like that.
Be patient. It's Philly.
You're right.
Philly education is not that high.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
They number one.
that's messed up.
Yo,
I'm sorry, brothers.
Yo, Cap, man, ain't right, man.
Yo, forgive me, man.
Wow, man. That it right there in the bottom? Yeah, that it there? Click that. That gotta be it.
Look that. Land bridge.
Oh, look, go. Matter of fact, go to the map. Go back. Go click back. Right there. Click that right there. No, that can't be it.
Nah, that says Saudi Arabia.
No, that ain't it.
Ain't it?
What's that map there? What that say? That map right there. That map to the left. What's that say?
Bridge of the Horns. That's not it.
Come on, y'all. Let me find it myself.
Yeah, Deke, I'm about to do the same thing.
Please do. Go up. Type in Zidane Island. Try that. I know it's Zeri Island, but type in Zidane Island. Maybe way it's being worded is wrong. Click that. Zidane Island. Is that it right there? The second row, third? No, next one over. What's that? What's that say? What does it say over it, under it? Come on, we ain't got much time. Come on, y'all.
It says Tyre and Zidane in Lebanon.
Okay.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right. Send it to them. I think that's it right there. Because it is Lebanon. It is.
I think this should be it. Don't worry, I got you guys. It's all right.
You send it?
Yeah.
All right, send it. Click that. The island. Blow it up some. Damn. The island's right there. And then you have, move the other arrow, go down, go up. That's the island right there.
They go down.
And go down, what it says, the ones connected bridge during the siege of Alexander the Great. Right there. He
That's a
built it
big
right
bridge.
there. It's a big
That's not a normal bridge. I thought it was like a small bridge.
No, it's a sedimentary. More stuff, sand, stuff got there built up.
Oh, okay, that's
It
why.
became a bigger bridge. It became a real big bridge after that.
Yo,
After a while, people
Crazy.
just start living in
Now,
the area.
now, that's why, because now it's a normal.
Right.
It's not an island anymore. Now it's connected
Now
to
it's
the land.
connected to the land, right. So he did
he
that.
connected.
He laid the foundation.
Yeah, he did the foundation
He
of a
created
bridge.
his own landmass.
Pretty much.
Wow.
So let's continue reading now. Go back to
That
there.
land have more value now.
Right. So go back.
That's crazy.
And then eventually Paul visits there. He visits the ruins there and teaches the people there.
How do you change
New Testament.
the landscape of an island?
Yeah, he changed the landscape pretty much. They
Through
pissed him off.
rage, through rage, he changed the landscape.
Pure rage, 7 months. Go back. We was at. Go back to where we was at. Now, come on. We ain't got much time. I want to finish this up.
All right. Over the centuries since, this caused heavy sedimentation to occur and permanently link the island to the mainland.
Sedimentation. It grew right. More sand and so forth accumulated. Rocks accumulated. That's what happened. Forming a bridge. Go ahead.
Which is why Tyre is not an island today.
Sorry, Island is not anymore. Go ahead.
After a siege of 7 months, Alexander used his man-made causeway to batter down the walls of Tyre
Once he got that bridge, he was able to knock the walls down. Go ahead.
and take the city. Tyre's 30,000 inhabitants were either massacred or sold into slavery.
And Israel's involved in that. Israel's up in there too. Go ahead.
And the city was destroyed by Alexander in his rage at they having defied him for so long. The fall of Tyre led to the rise of Carthage.
The fall of Tyre led to the rise of Carthage because the remnants, whoever fled to Africa, who was smart enough to run from there, they ran to Carthage because they already colonized that area there, and Israel was there too. Go ahead.
The fall of Tyre led to the rise of Carthage as the survivors of the siege.
As the survivors of the siege, those who were smart enough to leave, who escaped. Go ahead.
Who were able to escape Alexander's wrath by bribery or stealth, founded the new city in the north of Africa.
Right, that goes back to Alyssa. Go ahead.
Following Alexander's death in 323 BC, his general Seleucus I took control of the region of Phoenicia, including Tyre, and rebuilt it. But the city was again destroyed in 315 BCE by Alexander's rival general Antagonist.
Right. So, it's to fled to Africa. We passed it, right? We passed there?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You went too much. That's all right. Let's go to. So now, let's real quick go to. Do I want to go to that? I don't need that. How long we got? We got 10 minutes. All right. So. Hold on. Let's go to North. Let's go to North Africa. Page 230.
How you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna start it off. I am gonna wait. I'm just gonna it's gonna come. You'll see. I know. You'll see. You'll see. Page 230. You got it.
Hey, go up. Move it up. Right there.
We're gonna start at "But we're all." I believe it's the first paragraph.
Right there.
Yeah, we're
right
gonna
there.
end at the foundation of the city.
But we're all the Carthaginians, Trinitarians.
Remember the survivors. Remember the Tyre was burned. Alexander besieged it, so the survivors of the city fled to Africa, where there was already a colony from there from the time of who? Alyssa, Dido, that was there first. Go ahead.
Or polytheists. We learn from.
No, we again, but we're all. I'm sorry, but we're all the.
But we're all the Carthaginians, Trinitarians, or polytheists. We learn from.
So he's asking, were the Carthaginians Trinitarians or were they polytheists? Probably were they pagans? So they believe in different gods. Go ahead.
We learn from several inscriptions that side by side with the temples of Baal and of Tenet, of the emanation or the face of Baal, or the name of Baal, stood the temples wherein high priests ministered to Baal Shemayim.
Go ahead.
Baal
Shemayim. Go ahead.
The God of heaven.
So it says you have Baal Shemayim, the God of heaven. So they had two contrasting gods they worshipped. They had Baal and Shemayim. Go ahead, Shemayim. Go ahead, the God of heaven. Go ahead.
Other inscriptions indicate that certain tribes of Asher and of Zebulun lived in Carthage ever since the foundation of the city.
Ever since the foundation of the city. That's when Alyssa and Dido fled there. When her husband was killed by her brother, and her followers fled with her there. That's what it's reading. So when Alexander the Great conquered Tyre, finally, The survivors who survived either by bribery or through stealth, meaning they got in the damn boat and they sailed their behinds over, that survived, the first ones that were there was Asher and Zebulon from the time of Alyssa, and more of them came over during Alexander's siege as well. So Tyre was pretty much overthrown. Israel came over. Watch.
On the most beautiful sarcophagus found by Parade de Latar among the ruins of Carthage, there is a seal which bears a Hebrew inscription, such as were common in Jerusalem. To Joab, it is well known.
Wait. No, you're going too far. From the foundation of the city. From the foundation of the city, Asher and Zebulon were there, lived in Carthage ever since the foundation of the city. That's all I wanted. Ever since the foundation of the city. Now, get Caesar and Christ. We're almost done. Caesar and Christ now.
So remember that Asher and Zebulon
were there from the foundation of the city of Carthage, which is North Africa, known as today as Tunis or Tunisia today. Now, we're going to start at the sieges again, and we're going to end at homes and fields. Let me get there with you. I'll read along with y'all. Make sure. Yep, go ahead.
Yes, sir. The sieges of Tyre by Shalmaneser,
Assyria, the third. Shalmaneser the third. Go ahead.
Nebuchadnezzar, and Alexander.
Alexander the Great, we read that just now, go ahead.
Drove many wealthy Tyrians to Africa.
The wealthy Tyrians represents the Hamites as well as Israelites that were there as well, who got rich. Isaiah 26, 27. Another heathens, go ahead.
Most of them went to Carthage.
Most of them went to Carthage, Africa. They fled there, go ahead.
And made it a new center of Phoenician trade.
And that became the new trade. That became the new Carthage, the new headquarters for trade. Rather than Zidon Island, they started their trade from North Africa now. Trade started there. Go ahead.
Carthage grew in power and splendor as Tyre and Zidon declined.
Because it was overthrown by the Assyrians, Babylonians, then Alexander the Great conquered it forever. Okay, go ahead.
The strengthened city drove the African natives further and further inland.
Wait a minute. The strengthened city drove the African natives further and further inland. So who drove the Hamites out of that area? Who was there from the foundation of the city? Asher and Zebulon. Asher and Zebulon. So someone took over. Go ahead.
The strengthened city drove the African natives further and further inland, ceased to pay tribute to them, exacted tribute from them, and used them as slaves and serfs in his homes and fields.
So roles are reversed. We took over. We took over. We were tributaries to them. We said, nah, we're going to take this over now. So Asher and Zebulon took over and pushed Ham out, and they became their slaves and servants.
Monopoly.
We took monopoly. We took over. So now Carthage became ours. That became we became the new traders in business now. We'll take it from here. Thank you, Ham. We appreciate you, Canaan. Thank you. We appreciate you. Go ahead. Slaves and serfs in their home. Read again. And use what?
The strengthened city drove the African natives further and further inland, ceased to pay tribute to them.
That's why when Israel fled, that's why when Israel was overthrown by the Portuguese and the Spanish, when the Africans sold us, they took pride in that thing, man. We always conquered them. We always took over their stuff. We was always punking the Hamites, always. So when we got conquered for the last time, they said, "Oh, we gonna take joy in this, boy. We can't stand y'all." Go ahead.
Ceased to pay tribute to them.
We ceased paying tribute to them. Go ahead.
Exacted tribute from them.
We took money from them instead, conquering them. Go ahead.
And used them as slaves and serfs in his homes and fields.
That's all you want. So that starts off how Israel takes over Carthage, leading us into the Barcas, leading us into Hannibal.
That's right.
That's next week, so stay tuned. Next week, we're going to start the series off. It's called The Barcas. Israelite War Geniuses and Heroes. Barcas. Israelite War Geniuses and Heroes is next week.
Deacon, man, that was brilliant. Bravo. That was brilliant. Right. The way you just piece everything. Yo, Deacon's like a master puzzle piecer. Like, Deacon was doing puzzles when he was like 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? While we was like,
I think it was in the womb. He was doing it.
Yeah, while we still like breastfeeding, Deacon's doing puzzles.
All praises, Deacon.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna get into the Barkers starting next week. Lord's
Genius,
will.
Deacon, genius.
Next
All
week.
praise.
So next
Wow.
time again, that's episode what 12 next week.
Yes, sir.
So that's gonna
Episode
be
12.
entitled "The Barkers: Israelite War Geniuses and Heroes." The Barkers.
Man,
All right.
that thing was crazy how he pieced everything together. I'm like,
Yeah, it was
what's
bad.
going on?
Hey, share.
And I'm like, I need a second, for my brain.
So shout outs to the breakfast team. Shout outs to the IT team. Excellent job, brothers, today, man. Doing a dynamic job, man. Beautiful. All praises to the Lord for y'all.
Yeah, they've been
Looking
doing
out. Did
better
an
every
excellent
week.
job, dropping the bombs on time. I'm like, damn.
We didn't have to yell at them
Making
and
me
tell them what to
nervous.
do. They just did it.
They did an
Brothers on
excellent
point
job.
now, so all praises.
So all praises for that. All right, so Gap announcements.
Yes. For those of you that do not know, please subscribe to our Hidden History radio channel. We have a YouTube page called Our Hidden History Radio Channel. So if you're looking to locate our previous chapters and go into the history, you could go to Our History Radio Channel. Yes, it has the logo on the back, so you could differentiate it from any other shows if you come into confusion. Also, like I said, we thank you. We thank you for your time, your consistency, and your donations. If you'd like to donate to our Hidden History Radio channel or show, you could donate to IUIC.NewJersey@IsraelUnite.org. Once again, you can donate to IUIC.NewJersey@IsraelUnite.org. Place in the description box our Hidden History Radio show. Also, if you'd like to donate to the Booster Club, you can donate to IUIC.fundraiser@IsraelUnite.org. IUIC.fundraiser@IsraelUnite.org. We thank you. Lord's will, tune in next week. Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Most High Christ bless.
Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Yeah. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Kicking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book. Yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim. Yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix. Yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge. Officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh. Oh, oh. Tell them you know. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just tell them you know. Oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Yeah. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it.
Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go.
Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back, taking 9 times. Doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that.
We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, 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 oh. Tell them you know, oh yeah, yeah, just tell them you know, oh yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know